bringing you the latest gaming news, hot topics, and more. With guest Triple Cup Chuck, Livewire's Gaming, 108 Dragons TV, Bloody Knuckles, Operations Op, 100, live, and your host, K Mega 405. The GRG podcast
starts right now.
What's happening, everybody? What's going on? The GRG podcast is live. I tried to tell you, PK. You can ask this question right now to the chat. So go ahead, since you want to ask this question. What was the question you had? What was it?
I said, show of hands, who beat Gears Tactics?
I ain't beat it yet.
I ain't beat it yet.
Nope.
I have. I'm starting on Insane now.
Well, you ain't got a life.
Yeah, you're bragging.
Why? Hey, man.
What are you talking about?
You ain't got a life. Hey, listen, I know I'm staying at home too, but I mean, listen. But anyway, no, I haven't beat Gears Tactics yet. That hard ass game.
On whoever the hell that is.
That is a vibrator.
Wow.
Well, whose is that? That's got to be.
You invited Infamous as a guest?
No, I don't think Infamous is in here.
Oh,
No, I didn't.
okay, all right.
She didn't ask, so I don't think. But anyway, all right.
No, because I heard the vibrator.
Okay, all right. We started the
It's gone
show.
now.
Not starting the show. Not like this. We ain't starting the show like this. We're not doing it. All right. So anyway, welcome to the GRG podcast, everybody. Thank you for coming, and for the people that will be coming here later on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm pretty sure we will not get to everything that we have lined up with topics, but we will get into the juicy, nitty-gritty tidbits that everybody wants to talk about. And we'll definitely hit that, and maybe some things that people haven't really been put on their radar yet. But we will definitely start that off on the show tonight. But before we do that, we got to get to the bums. First off, man, look, everybody is on time, but I guess I started a little bit late. But I might as well go to the man, the myth, the legend, the king of the Dolphins, our Donald Trump. What's going on with you, Livewire? What's happening?
Nothing much, chilling, trying to stay cool and game when I can. And that's pretty much it.
No doubt.
Videos this week.
Yeah, I put out a video this week, man. You know what? I did something very irregular. I put videos out there every day. I got into a zone. It's like, man, you know what? I think I just want to talk about this. And since I can't go live right now on YouTube, I might as well just talk about one and then whatever. So I apologize for me going 17 to 20 minutes. I think I went almost 30 minutes with one video, but I just was having a lot to say. So regardless of that, man, it was cool. But hey, I totally feel you. Sometimes you get the itch to want to do videos, and especially since I got the time, might as well. All right, cool. Then we go on moving on down the line to my man PK Live. What's going on with you? You was just here bragging, letting people know that you beat Gears Tactics. Man, I mean, that's disrespectful.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hey, happy Friday, family and friends. It's glad to be here, just playing games. Hey, I am flexing a little bit. That game was tough, so I am flexing a little bit.
You can flex. Go ahead and flex. I'm not even going to trip on it. I mean, listen, I have to bow down to you because that game is very tough. Very, very, very tough. I was just speaking with who was that? I was Incognito. We was talking about it on Twitter yesterday, I believe, and it was just like one moment when you think that you got past everything, here comes some more they're coming through a hole, or they get dropped right there around you and you're surrounded again with low life. That game is very, very challenging, but it's very rewarding when you do beat a level. I will have to say that the game is high risk, low. What was it? How you say that? It's low rewards or high risk. That's what it is.
High reward.
However you say it. Whatever. Let me be country. It's Friday night. Yeah, let me be country. It's Friday night, man. Let me come. I'm gonna get started on this Tito.
Man, that's a country expression, though. You got no excuse tonight.
Yeah, hey, what'd you say?
That is very country. High risk, high reward, brother.
Man.
Come on.
I mean, listen. Let me be country. Just let me a little.
We got our Japanese translator.
Let me be a little back
from Washington.
Back in the woods, country. Every once in a while, it happens. So don't worry about it. All right, cool. Anyway, let's go to the rookie of the year. No, he was the rookie of the year. Now he is the graduate Well, he's almost about to be a graduate because he talks so much trash now, and he feels that he can just
I get
talk
that
trash
shit
to
from y'all.
everybody. Listen, you don't get that from us. We're a humble, kind. We don't talk bad
You
about
talking shit right now
things.
to your integrity because you lying.
Talking about.
Okay, all right, okay. Listen. Operations Op, man, hurry up and say what you got to say, man. Go ahead, sucker.
Y'all been good, man. Just finally got into fires that got me into it on last Sunday, man. And just because it's been rough, man. It's been rough. I'm going to give me some pointers because this shit is looking spooky right now, man. But other than that, I've just been chilling.
That Injustice 2, man, is life. That's all I've been playing all week long. All week long. I played a little bit of Halo.
But I can't get no combos off, man. I'll get my ass whooped out here.
What's going on with you guys? Thank you. Look at you, Hanosis, Jazzy Noob. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we see.
Oh, snap.
Chris
I didn't know what I was
here.
looking
Chris
at.
Kurt's here. What's going on with you, Chris?
Okay, nigga.
What's up?
That's Final Fantasy on there. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, yo, hey, your stream done fucked up. I don't know what the hell I was looking at.
What are you talking
It was
about?
like it was a puzzle, but the shit looked crazy.
On what?
It's like, what the hell? On the screen.
Oh, I don't know. This is if you're looking at the gameplay, that's PK Live's gameplay. So
okay, never mind.
Yeah. Anyway, so all right, cool. What's going on with you, bloody? What's happening?
What's going on, family? You know, it's good to be back. Been doing my thing. Everyone knows that I've been busy like a mother, trying to be hustling, gaming. You know, like some people out here. But you know, so many different things going on, man. It's always good to be back. So news this week, very interesting stuff, definitely. But you know, me missing the community, missing family, glad to be back to be doing what I'm doing. But no, still hustling out here, man. Everyone see that I've been on my grind streaming. I was like, everyone knows I'd be doing it 5 times a week.
No doubt, yeah, no doubt you do. You did the 24 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Sound like a bloody commercial.
Man, he did. I mean, he did. Hey, look, he did
Hey,
the 24
selling
hours.
yourself. If
Hey,
you can't
man,
sell yourself,
that dude took a shower.
Get on the corner and get that money.
Yeah, he took a shower on the stream. He was eating on the stream. He went to sleep on the stream.
Brian is an understatement. He no life in this shit right now.
Yeah, he was no lifing on that stream. I turned back, I said, man, bloody, what you eating? He said green beans and applesauce. I said, damn, what are you, an infant? But anyway, all right, let's
go. Damn right.
Struggle food, that's what.
I don't know. Gerber. He was on that Gerber life. All right, man, what's going on with your Six Slayer? You kind of remind me of you're kind of like the gentle version of how Livewire came into the GRG podcast. If people
wait, he came through.
Hey.
Wow.
What's going on with you?
Doing good, man. Another Friday, just got paid once again. It's Friday night. Got these topics, man. You know, I work hard. I get to play hard with the money I earn, you know?
No doubt. Yeah, seen some of the toys you got, man. Very impressed, man. Very impressed. No doubt. All right, and then last but not least, the man is back. I'll say 2.5 week being back because 2 weeks ago he gave it his all. I have to give it to my man, but he fell asleep, and then I guess he thought that nobody didn't notice. But because you know what I'm saying, but good effort. Hey,
I was on drugs.
It doesn't matter. I mean, there's a lot of people that's on drugs. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter. But anyway, regardless,
Most of everyone here beats up when they still on the show. They still don't fall asleep, my man.
I know.
No, I was on medication drugs. I don't do drugs.
Oh, okay. Well, you just
hear
said
that,
drugs. You just said drugs.
That's bad, okay?
Don't do drugs. It's bad for you.
Oh man. Anybody out there, man? We about to get into these topics, man. But what's up, Lemon? What's going on? Go ahead. What you been playing? Other than I already know, but let everybody else know.
Call of Duty and 2K.
That's it.
I was playing Last of Us today, and I could tell why PlayStation dudes are not really into it because it's a slow paced game.
Come on, we ain't starting. We ain't doing that.
I mean, I love the game, but I could see why the community didn't accept it, like Horizon Zero Dawn, another slow paced good game. You know what I'm saying? You get tired of looking at visuals with no action, but you know, I was on my PS4 today.
Okay, all right. You know what? Listen, we got a lot of PlayStation talk
Pro
today.
too.
So
I got a Pro.
Good. You just got it. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get on to the topics, man. People, please. Hey guys, please, if you don't mind, share this out. Let people know that we doing it here on Mixer, man. We doing something different. I've heard a couple of people, even some YouTubers, that hit me up Oh man, my boy Game Down Sights was the only one that was in there when he heard it. A couple of YouTubers came in, and dude was he was talking and he was talking, hey man, that mixer thing is real cool, man. That's what I'm talking about. And I didn't really look at it from that way because I mean I know that we are considered an Xbox centric podcast, but we really are, we play on everything. But
Yep.
uh but he was like, man, y'all being on Mixer just screams Xbox. And I was cracking up like I didn't think that, but hey, that's all right. But
It's
I
a
just kind
valid
of,
point. Yeah.
I mean, it
But
is
it's
kind of
really
valid.
not.
I mean,
People stream on PC. That's just because
and everything else.
people are slow.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is about
Slow.
He meant well.
Microsoft.
My
See,
boy
They're
meant
mad.
well.
fair,
My
it's
boy
a fair
meant well.
point. Hang on. It's a fair point because of the fact that when you think Mixer, it's built into the ecosystem of what Xbox has. It's easy to be able to stream the Mixer built into it, and you don't need anything. I mean, just like how on PlayStation you can stream directly to Twitch or to YouTube. Like,
Can I say something? You can stream from Mixer from every Android cell phone with the app. Just saying.
I mean, yeah. All right, but that's not a topic. But
they
I just wanted to make that point.
when they Mixer create before they remove it. Know your place. Know your facts.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
See,
here we go.
Here we go. Let's not do it. All right. First topic, light topic, as usual. Let's get into it. EA. There was some talk about EA and what their plans are coming up into the future, and basically, there was some bad news in that in this article that came out, but there was a lot of other good news too. And let's start off with the bad news first. They came to talk to Vince Zampella, the guy that was the person that ran Titanfall, and then they asked him about, I think, I don't know, was it IGN, I believe? I can't remember where the article came from. But they asked him about Titanfall 3, and he basically said that there really wasn't any plans right now. I mean, you've got a lot of love for the game, and maybe, come on, man, you're not a fan of Titanfall?
It's not coming right now. It's the issue.
No, I'm not. There's more though. There's more. That's okay.
Hey,
That's more. That's
more.
more. Okay, so anyway, but he did say, hey, look, there's no Titanfall 3 coming out anytime soon. They don't have any of the plans. He would love it to come back, but they are working on another game themselves. They've been very successful with Apex and then also with the Jedi Fallen Order. And then also EA themselves is kind of restructuring themselves and kind of following the lead of what Zampella wants EA to do. And they also said that there is another big time shooter coming out, and I don't think it's Battlefield. It's going to be something else from a new studio called LA Dice, I believe. And they're going to change that name, but they're working on something different. Plus, there's also news that they're going to be that they're working on even something else. So there's going to be like three games coming from three different studios, and of course Battlefield, and then of course the rumors about maybe that there's a remaster for Mass Effect. All that's being said, I'm going to go to you, Op, since you yawned. What do you think about any of this, man? I mean, does any of this stuff get you excited? What kind of game do you think that LA Dice might bring to the table? And did it kind of make you sad that you find out that Titanfall 3 wasn't coming?
Well, I didn't yawn. I booed it because I'm mad at Titanfall 3's not coming right now. Like, I get it. I mean, compared to the other IPs right now, Apex, which is a derivative, it's based off the universe anyway, and there's Star Wars as well, which there's a license to them. Titanfall is the least powerful and known compared to the other two right now. I understand it be put on back, but at the same time, I'm sad because I do love Titanfall 1 and 2. I do want to see more from that franchise as well. So it sucks we got to wait a good while if they'll ever come down the pipeline for our Titanfall 3 game, but it is what it is right now. As far as making a new studio right now, that's going to be dope. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the new studio Respawn's making a shooter, it's going to be another studio.
What other studio would be that? You don't think?
No, it's not. If I remember correctly, Respawn making another AAA studio, correct?
Right.
And they're making that new studio is making a shooter, correct?
Right. It's called LA Dice, but I don't know exactly they don't know what the name is going to be right now, but they are working on a game right now that's going to be a shooter. And then he was kind of getting into it, but then it's in an article it said that there was a person that was watching over him, some lady, and that he kind of backed off because he was giving a little bit too much information. But But yeah, so far for what we know, that this is going to be a new shooter that's going to be coming from EA.
Well, I hope it's gonna be dope. I have confidence in Respawn because they do make quality games. I haven't played Jedi Fallen Order yet, but I have just played Titanfall games, play Apex as well. If they're gonna make another shooter, I have all the faith in the world for them because they've really got that down pat at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm just hopeful for it. I hope it's gonna be a success for them. As far as other news, EA, I mean, like, seems like they're easing off the developers more and letting them and do their own thing, which is good. I want to see how it's going to work out in the future for them. But right now, it's looking good for them, and that's all I can say.
All right, cool. All right, what do you got for me, PK? What do you think? I mean, does this intrigue you? I mean, did you kind of want to hear more? Maybe not so much hearing about another shooter that's coming out, or is this something that you got more faith into EA because Impella is kind of being the loudest voice in the room, kind of dictating what's going on, talking about how EA is not really pushing him to do things. They're more listening than anything.
So I think, to be fair, I think it's what Respawn. I think I think in general, given a good time to kind of showing how they did Star Wars, if you give them room to flex, they can bring out a good product. I mean, I feel like Titanfall 1 was something no one was ready for. And the thing with Titanfall 2 is there were too many people giving them advice and reflection on how that game should come out. Now, Titanfall 2's story was great, but the multiplayer suffered in comparison to the first one, and I think that's why part of why we are looking for a version of Titanfall, at least 3, that is similar to the gameplay of 1 with the story of 2 mixed together and with no compromises. Um, I do remember that they did use the Azure servers for part 1. Um, so I'm hoping they take their time with the third one. In other words, so I'm okay with that as long as they take their time, give them room to flex. I'm okay with them doing new IPs and doing different things, and putting the quality to work. I mean, when I look at Apex, I feel like they're doing a good thing over here. The Apex has these characters that are their own, like their own story, their own background. They're very unique, and it still feels like Titanfall gameplay, the gun mechanics. So if they can translate that to uh, Titanfall 3 or whatever the next shooter is, I'm on board. 100.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Livewire, what do you think, man? What's your thoughts on this?
On Titanfall,
Well, just on the whole situation with EA, what do you think about this new shooter that they're coming out with? What do you think that it possibly could be? And just yeah, about the whole Titanfall thing as well.
is it new, like a new IP, or
No,
just
it's going to be a brand new IP. This is not going to be Battlefield. That's the way that he described it in the article. This isn't Battlefield. Everybody knows Battlefield is coming. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be shown at EA at the EA Play. That's going to be revealed. What was it coming? Bloody? I can't remember. What was it? Was July 19th or something like that?
Which one?
EA the EA Play thing.
Yeah, July 19th.
Okay, yeah, July 19th. But yeah, Battlefield is kind of scratched out. We already know that that's coming. But I'm talking about
hmm,
the other game. What kind of game do you think that it would be? What game would you actually kind of want it to be? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I would think
yeah.
it's probably gonna be something like Bad Company. They might- what's the like Hardline, like you think like those type uh series. Like to
Yeah, folks has
me,
been asking for
ha-
Bad Company 3 for a long time, so maybe.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
like
what that's
Bad Company. But that's a Battlefield game though. So I
yeah,
mean,
but they
yeah.
yeah, but they play kind of different. Like battle, like it's more to me you could there's a multiple ways you can play those Bad Company games. It doesn't have to be just being a cop, just being a military dude. You could be like a spy or whatever. Like you could shoot, you could be in the gang or whatever they want it to be. You know what I mean? They don't have to make it just one thing all the time. To me, that would make it a little bit more intriguing. Like, how about you go like the Grand Theft Auto route, but just make it strictly first person? You know,
Yeah, like more like
kind of like Far Cry.
so you're saying that you want more of a single player shooter than another multiplayer shooter.
Nah, it could be. Well, no, it could still be what it is, like co-op and campaign.
Mhm.
But you know, but I'm just saying, like, as far as the style of how the campaign's designed, it could be more like like Grand Theft Auto type, even more so than Call of Duty. Because, like, to me, Grand Theft Auto played well as first person, even though most people didn't play it that way.
Mhm.
Played well that way. So, I mean, I would do it that way.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Let me go to you, 108. What do you think about the whole situation with EA right now? I mean, I know that EA gets a lot of flack. But it sounds like it's going in the right direction from Pella's standpoint. And I mean, and since he has one of the loudest voices in the room, I mean, do you think that whatever this new game will be, everything will be going in the right direction with his not his so much his leadership, but maybe his voice standing behind everything
Well,
because of the success?
well, they said it's a military style shooter, but not like a sandbox like Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be dropping like 2021. And they said they possibly will be showing something at the EA event. Maybe. That's specifically what they said. But I think that they know how to make shooters, and I don't have no problem with Titanfall 2. I think it's better than one multiplayer. One multiplayer was solid, but it was simple. I think they brought more elements and more things to do in 2, and I have confidence in them. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a good look. And Battlefield is Battlefield. So for them to bring an idea, because I'm an Apex dude, so that's another great shooting game. Even though they took elements from Overwatch with the difference in characters and abilities, and then they put their twist on it. But I got confidence it's gonna be a good game. And when they said military shooter, unlike Battlefield, the sandbox style, that means it's going to be maybe more like a Call of Duty-ish style, closed level. I could go with that. See how they would present their game in that genre. I can go with that because I got plenty of confidence in them.
No doubt. All right, and then Slayer. I know I'm gonna go bloody last. Slayer,
Yeah,
what
sure.
is your thoughts about this, man?
Oh man, well, Respawn out there has earned their stripes as far as EA is concerned for now, because EA is very fickle. I mean, you mess up a couple of times and then your whole studio gone. There's a litany of studios that used to be under EA that EA bought or whatever, and as soon as they done with you or they upset with you and then you done, there's countless studios that have been under the thumb of EA and that are now gone. That deserve better than that. But for now, Respawn's, they've earned their stripes, and so they've got that leeway to do something different. It's unfortunate that this new game isn't a Titanfall game, but Apex Legends came out from an effort to make Titanfall 3, and they just decided to go a different direction with it. I guess whatever they were doing Titanfall style with it, it just wasn't coming together.
Well, it's in the Titanfall universe, remember, Simon? They even got the weapons from Titanfall. So,
right, but it was supposed to be Titanfall 3. That's what they first started to develop. This is why they came together. But in the end, they went in a different direction. But he did imply that they're trying to put in some allusions to the Titanfall story or whatever, to keep the plot in the minds or whatever. So, when Titanfall 3 ever does drop, it's not just we're waiting from or remembering what happened with the second game and then, nothing in between. Apex is, is there to hold us down until that time comes in the future when we do get Titanfall 3. But in terms of what kind of game it is, like he said, that's a shooter team, so it's a shooter. I don't know what it could be. Is it confirmed to be a brand new IP or?
Yeah, it's confirmed. It's a new title.
Then unfortunately, that can't be Bad Company, and folks have been asking for that.
They can't make that. That's Dice's game. They can't make that.
Dice LA now, so I don't know. I don't know. And Bad Company was, the side game of its time, right? There were other side games that weren't the mainline Battlefield games. So maybe, I don't know. But since they're saying it's a new IP, there's got to be something different. I couldn't even possibly imagine what the game could be. I mean, they did good with the Star Wars license. Would they put their shooter team onto the Star Wars license again? I mean, with all the drama that they had with DICE and their whole, but that wasn't really DICE's fault. That was more EA with their whole loot box thing. It wasn't that DICE made a bad game or nothing, but like I said, EA is fickle. I said that from the start. So maybe they want to use Respawn to make the next, bad company game, but that's not a new IP either. So I really don't know what to say on that. Just they making something new. Respawn, in Respawn, I trust these days. They've earned those stripes, as I say. So we'll just have to soon see what it is. We're supposed to see it this July or?
Yeah, July 19th. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, man, we'll soon see what it is.
You know what? I hear the enthusiasm so much oozing out of this first topic. It is just, it's incredible. You know what I'm saying? You guys are let's get to the nitty gritty. I'm going to get to Bloody. It really isn't.
It's really. They didn't really say nothing. I covered it this week on my channel, but they also took a lot of flack for Jedi. People was like, why would they give it to them?
Right, I know, and they did a fantastic job with that game.
Just because they're good at first-person shooters, they are developers. Sometimes people are retarded and think these dudes only can make a racing game. Like, this is their profession. I'm pretty sure they can make games because they like Playground. Oh, why would they be doing an RPG? They're a developer. They're not a racing developer. They're a developer. You know what I'm saying? So
and they hire the people that can help them if they are
right.
So it's
people just one-minded. Well, like Turn 10, if they ever make anything outside of Forza, oh my God, I'm pretty sure the Xbox dudes are gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because they just locked into Forza. So it is what it is.
No, I got you. Good point. So all right, let me go to Bloody. I know everybody's really itching to get into the nitty gritty, but it's just first topics.
Fight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to get it. You got to warm up. You got to warm it up, you know what I'm saying? Because people are just not coming in, stuff like that, and get warm, get your voice right, because you know what I'm saying? Because I really do. There's going to, I don't know how many different opinions is going to be on this show tonight on some of the stuff that we're going to get into, but it's going to be very intriguing. I can't wait to hear what everybody has to say because in the DMs it was lit this week. So, Bloody, go ahead and finish us off for the first topic, man. What do you think about EA? What do you think that this new game that LA Dice is working on, and about the whole Titanfall thing? Give me the whole spiel, brother.
So first thing is that.
Whoa! What?
Oh,
what was that? What was that?
That's me clowning.
I don't know what was going on. I was like, if somebody got gas.
Hey, Mega, what it is? It's all that bunion medicine he be taking, putting his ass to sleep.
Oh my God!
He
said bunion medicine.
I'm listening.
If I cut my bunion off, it's taller than you.
It's on me. Certainly I'm not on my feet.
That ain't a flex. That's concern.
Exactly.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That is disrespectful.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Bloody.
Shut your ass up over there. All right. Anyways, so the news with EA, I think EA is probably one of the most polarizing publishers in the gaming industry, and they definitely got a lot. Always, they got to prove, they got to do things right, and I think Vince Zampella has absolutely done a lot trying to I mean, he's always been a name and a staple in the community because he was what helped set up Call of Duty. He kind of helped trying to go with all that. So what we saw with what they did with Titanfall, the first one, as everyone said, very good gunplay. The multiplayer was good. I was like, the story was off, but that's because of the fact that it was so heavily tied into the multiplayer, and that was all over the place with how you could actually get into the story and all that aspects of it. Titanfall 2, one of the best single player stories I've seen in a long time. I really love the dynamic that they did with BT with creating him as a character. But I do feel where people said that the multiplayer was kind of lacking in that aspect. It was still good. It improved a lot over the first. I can see where it happened, and we've seen the success of Apex, even though it's in the same universe and exists within that same franchise. It is still its own identity, and I think we kind of see why they're not going to focus on Titanfall 3, which is sad because people want to see a Titanfall 3. They want to know if they're going to do another full dedicated single player story doing its own thing, or if they're going to continue with where they've left off with 2, because 2 actually continued on from 1, even if it was a different character and all of the things, but it made a lot of references. So I think that for the Titanfall fans, for not seeing 3 is kind of disheartening, but seeing how much EA is trying to restructure and they're giving Vince a little bit more power and kind of overseeing a lot more projects, I'm kind of interested to see what they said, because Lemon did bring up a good point. Respawn did catch flack at first when they were announced for doing Jedi Fallen Order, especially after hearing about everything that happened with Visceral Games, and then the other team that Amy Hednick was overlooking through, because I don't believe she was with Visceral, I think she was with another team doing Star Wars 1313, as well as the other project that kind of turned into an open world that was later canceled. So I think when it finally came out that Respawn was going to be doing Jedi, a lot of people were uncertain how it was going to come out, but I think a lot of people were very caught off guard with how good it was. Even though it was that Dark Souls style gameplay, it worked really well, because when you had the powers, you felt like a robot that shit out. You were able to do all these big things, and you had a great story. So I think right now that Vince Zampella, out of all the devs from EA, have absolutely kind of set himself apart and shows that he knows what he's doing. So seeing whatever project that they'll have now taking over Dice LA and what they're going to be transforming that studio into and what they're going to do, I don't think that you have any big worries. He's shown that he can do first-person shooters. He can show that he can do very good multiplayer shooters. He's also shown now that he's able to help kind of lead a team with doing an RPG, a deep-seated action RPG, right? So I think at this point, while it's disappointing that the fans aren't going to see anything, I would say wait to see what we do next, because it may be another first-person shooter, maybe a different game, or maybe it might be a new first-person shooter in a whole new universe. We don't know what they're going to be doing. It may be a full-on action RPG and a whole different style and setting up something new. It's at this point, it's kind of one of those wait and see kind of things, and that's just kind of how I feel about it. And I think it's a lot more intensive for fans because of the fact that it's EA. Everyone has certain feelings about EA, and when they say that they don't have all these plans or anything like that, or there's a lot of new things coming on, unless there's someone that they trust, like Vince Zampella, it's always hard to say, because as Sick and PK brought up, they have a habit of picking up devs and starting projects with a new company and forcing too many changes on it, getting too involved. Those companies have trouble trying to keep up with those demands, and then they end up getting shut down. So what happened with Visceral, kind of saw how much too much interaction and heavy-handed from execs affected BioWare from Andromeda and in Anthem from everything that's come out about both of those.
Hey, don't you talk bad about Anthem. I'm gonna cut your mic and I'm gonna eject those cuz your ass. You better get it. You better keep it quiet about Anthem.
A lot of internal.
You better keep it quiet about Anthem.
Smelling garbage. I said it. What
now? Hey. Hey, you know what? Everybody give Sick a hand, because this is like his 4th and his last show on GRG. Get your ass out of here, Darwin. Go ahead, Bloody.
Go ahead, Bloody. Whether we enjoy the game or not, there still goes out when it's revealed that there's a lot of internal politics and a lot of bad aspects that we have to take a look into that. And I was like, and we've seen just how heavy-handed the exec can be from EA, and how it really does affect a lot of what some of these developers do and what ultimately leads to some of their downfalls. But I think right now, with Vince Zampella kind of having a lot more of a voice and everything, and they're kind of listening to him, kind of shows that things are potentially on a better slide for EA. We still have to be careful and cautious, but it has the potential to be better.
No, I totally agree. That's a great point. Great point. All right, let's get on to the next topic. All right, so
can I comment? I've been watching Op die every 30 seconds.
Oh my god, I got to say
hey man, hold on. Let me tell you something.
So I'm trying to push.
Hold on.
Back in base.
No. Don't explain yourself, Op, because this is okay. So everybody in the DM seen how Op send me the files, right? And which is fine.
Yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, I appreciate that, because you did it in clips. I appreciate you didn't give me, 20-some gigs of damn gameplay that was just with 3 games that had like 3 to 5 hours of gameplay. I appreciate that. I appreciate the gameplay.
What about all his clips where he's sitting there standing still for like 20 minutes?
Like one clip, okay then.
Okay. So no, hold on, check it out. But my boy, right? After he sent me all this clip, I got plenty of clips, so he don't have to give me no gameplay for a little bit, right? But he said all of his clip was fire. I just picked one out of the bunch because this process isn't you know what I'm saying? It's tasking. It takes some time to try to put stuff.
That's probably what I forgot to delete. Okay.
Well, yeah, there was stuff I didn't delete. You know what I'm saying? I just put it was a clip.
I'll say that.
Oh, okay. But you know what? It's Halo 5. Hey man, listen. I appreciate. Hey, you know what? PK was ready to cap because he was like, everybody gave me hell.
Fiesta too. Yeah, man.
Hey, PK said everybody gave me hell about the situation with Streets of Rage 4. I'm gonna point this out right now on my boy Ops gameplay.
All I know is every time the video freezes, immediately after that he dies. I keep thinking to myself, there's a narrator in the background going, at this point, he realized he fucked up.
Oh,
wild man.
Okay, you know what? That is great. Thank goodness to the maybe K Mega exploited that. Maybe I paused it on that just to say, okay, look, right here. Boom. Okay, anyway, no. Never mind. I wouldn't do that to my boy Op. Op is good people. We just don't know what nationality he is. All right, so
you gotta live by Lefty in the class.
Did you see what Alethea said in the chat?
The who?
Alethea in the chat.
Yeah, she says lots of deaths. All the clips he was fired upon, not fired in.
Oh,
and a hot fire flying at him.
You're gonna have to do better, man. You have to do better with your clips.
Y'all hopping Fiesta with me.
You can. Hey man, you see, I play Halo all the time. I'm on my quest to try to get to 152.
Everybody else.
Hey, bro, I stream it. I stream Halo 5, so you can see my clips all everywhere. The Halo 5, Halo 5.
Everybody else.
I went. Listen. You can check my. Listen. The last clip I did, which was the other day, I think it was Wednesday. It was Tuesday and Wednesday, and it was a bad night. Some nights I'm clowning, and then other nights, look, it just ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? But when you're recording clips, though, that's a different story. You got to put out your best. That's why we don't get no gameplay from Lemon when Lemon's getting beaten 2K all the time. That's why we don't get I ain't getting no gameplay from Bloody in a long time. I ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? So I don't get no.
You know what? I almost said something under my breath, and I thought I was muted. You almost got violated.
Like I said, I ain't got
to see if my mic was beeping. I said, okay. Let me not get vulgar.
Exposing these frauds in these streets. Anyway, if you're doing game clips, you got to
ass that match. It was rough.
Look at that. Let's hope it's over. Let's hope it's over. I mean, because this is 20 minutes of gameplay, so hopefully you'll do better with this. Hopefully you'll do better.
I'm my team anyway, so fuck everybody.
Oh my gosh. If I was on your team, you would have won. You would have won. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You ain't got no gameplay when we play together on Gears and smack them people around.
No. He got Gears gameplay in there, but I just picked the first one that I seen and just put it in there and just let it go. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did. I didn't even go through
Apple.
it.
I think K Mega really is frauding on you, man. I think he took all them clips.
I am not like that.
He done freeze
because
I did you dirty, bro.
No, I didn't because I
didn't. That match too. Oh shit, I remember this match.
Look at that. R.I.P. Somebody did the Prince R.I.P. on their ass. Anyway.
Oh, that was gone.
Okay, let's get on to the next topic.
Don't like that,
good look at that, PK. Good look at that. All right, so let's talk about. Let me ask you guys. Let's ask the panel which one you want to talk about first. The Ghost gameplay impressions, or do you want to talk about the Game Fest? About Game Fest. Which one y'all want to talk about?
Let's leave Ghost for last because that's the controversial stuff. That and the Unreal 5 reveal.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's talk about the Summerfest then. All right. So everybody was over here giving Xbox some problems about what was shown from the games. Well, I should say everybody, certain pack of people, but they were talking about the situations that was going on with the inside Xbox, And now we're seeing what Jeff Keighley has been offering with the Summer Game Fest. Let me go to you on this one first, Bloody. What is your thoughts on this? I mean, you could definitely. I mean, we can all do comparisons right now. I mean, how would you compare for what Xbox has given so far and for what Jeff Keighley has offered so far on his show? I mean, do you seem that it's better so far, or do you think that it's even, or which one?
I mean, to be fair, they're going to give you different things. The only thing that's going to be different is that Jeff Keighley's going to give you stuff from everywhere in the industry. Like he's going to have multiple people. He's going to have sorts of different devs. Some of the things they showed off. The only thing that he kind of did differently was he did a lot of Q&A in the very beginning while showing off some of the trailers, kind of what Inside Xbox did before. They would show a trailer and then afterwards they would sit down with the devs, do an interview. But now they've kind of changed their format to do a lot more gameplay, montage, clip reel, whatever first. And then they'll go back and do a bit of their committed time to doing Q&As with some of the devs, not all of them. I mean, to be fair, their formats are pretty much the same. The only big difference is he's going to be doing everyone in the industry because he has that ability to basically do all the independent studios, all the third-party studios, and things like that. Working with them, of course, he's doing stuff with direct PlayStation. More than likely, he's going to do something directly with Xbox because they already, they've been talking about working with him for Game Fest. Everything's just changing. So, I mean, the biggest thing is that is basically going on a month doing a lot of things consistently throughout the month, whereas Inside Xbox is a once a month thing, just kind of give you a insight of everything that's going on the behind the scenes and other things that are coming up. For the most part, they're very much similar in every aspect. The only thing is that he's got too much of a narcissistic personality to put his name right there that says presented by Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. You know what? I'm overriding that. Listen, we're gonna get into it. You know what I'm saying? We could get into it and have the show as short as possible, or this show is gonna be long. But this doesn't seem like a topic I really want to talk about or even care to listen to. I want to get into the nitty gritty. I think the people want to hear the nitty gritty, Lemon. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Just talking about his show and the way that.
Yeah. I don't
we
care
don't
about
gotta give it that much time, but I would really like to say something on that.
Say something on it. We'll say something on it because I want to.
No, but I'm gonna let everybody go. I mean, let everybody go on time, but just keep it short and sweet.
You know what? I don't think anybody else want to talk about it. Do anybody else want to talk about
let me say this for the record.
Go ahead, you say this. Let's get into the nitty gritty for the show tonight.
There is absolutely no comparison to Summer Game Fest. Absolutely not.
All right.
They showed you one game one day, right? They showed you the Unreal 5 the next day. Microsoft showed you multitude of games. Not only did they show you a multitude of games, let me tell you something. They showed you exactly what they said they were going to show, right? This dude, he's out here, and it's not about he could work with different developers because Unreal ain't got nothing to do with him, and that's just an engine that's going to be powered by everything on the market. That don't got nothing to do with Jeff Keighley. Number two, every game show for Microsoft was third party. Okay? That was not Microsoft games. Not one. Now, what did they show? Okay, Tony Hawk the first day, a HD remaster of some shit that was on PS1 and PS2. Come on.
And it was HD on the original Xbox already.
Come on, man. Come on, man. If you want to talk about something, it's no comparison. We've seen a multitude of new IPs on the Xbox, which some is going multi-plat. Then we found out after that some is exclusive. Okay, but that had nothing to do with Microsoft. Everybody attacked Microsoft. That was third party. It was gameplay mixed with trailers. How many trailers have we watched The Last of Us? How many years have we watched trailers of Last of Us? God of War, Spider-Man. Come on. There's no comparison. It's okay. It's good to see, okay, they showed the Unreal 5 engine. Everybody was impressed. But then you got everybody complaining at the same time. But is there a comparison? Come on. Then he had a question. Oh, we're going to talk about this. The SSD, Will it really power the next generation?
Well,
No.
but hold on,
Answer is no.
but we're going into the topic that I really want to get into.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Come on. There is no comparison. Let's move on.
Okay, yeah, let's move on out that because I don't even. If y'all had something else to say on it, I don't want to hear it because it's not important to me. It's not important to the people that's listening either.
Oh, he cracking the whip tonight. Damn.
Yeah, I'm cracking the whip tonight because you know what I'm saying. Listen, Summer Game Fest is all right. But it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Listen, listen. I know that there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that was. There was a lot of people that was hyped for Tony Hawk. I've never played any Tony Hawk games. I've never played any of them.
15 minutes longer than most people's sex goddamn performance. Nobody cares.
Listen, I mean, there's a lot of people that was talking about it, excited about it. But I mean, but let's be realistic. I mean,
he even tried to get the epic dudes to say something slick about being powered by PS5.
Bro, can we get into the topic before you start getting into this now? Listen, okay, hold on. We gonna get to that.
Mega.
I know. I want us to get in. We were sounding a little tired, a little lazy tonight. I want us to go in. This is what we
just as bad as the public.
All right,
nobody cares.
So check it out. Yeah, nobody cares about that. Who cares about it? Okay, all right. So let's get to it. All right. So first off, I do want to talk about this topic because this was the big topic of the week, and I thought this was going to be the main topic of the week. Was the 30 frames per second gate about Valhalla, and of course, we will talk about that going into the demo, into the Unreal 5 demo on the PlayStation 5. But I just want to hear your thoughts on this one. What is it about this whole 30 frames, 60 frames, 120 frames? Where do you guys stand on this? I'm going to go straight to you on this one, Livewire. Is it important? And I want your thoughts about this. I don't want to hear about what other people think. I want your thoughts about this, and people in the chat, let me know as well. Is the Valhalla is the Assassin's Creed Valhalla thing that big of a deal? If this game is going to be is going to be 30 frames per second, or is it that gamers are taking things way out of context because that's the new flavor of the week when it comes to the frames per second? Let me hear your thoughts on this, Live.
I was expecting it to be 60 frames per second. Just because we're currently getting it at 30 on the One X. That's why. And I was looking at the game. It looks great, but it doesn't look like graphically to the point that I shouldn't get 60 frames per second on it. It looks like a great version.
But hold on, Live. Have we actually really seen any true gameplay? We have seen some gameplay.
I'm just talking about the visual.
We saw in the image.
Okay.
That's all I can compare it to.
Okay.
But with that being said, I still feel I should get 60 frames per second in it. You know what I mean? Is it the end of the world that it's not? No. But at the same time, it's like, damn, man, when are we going to I know that first party's gonna do this, sure. I mean, at least Xbox I do. But it's just like, damn, like if you can do it, unless the engine's just basically it was built that it just can't do it. And if that's the case, they need to just explain that. You know what I mean? Explain why it can't be done, at least at this current. Now I think Cyberpunk might have that same issue where it's going to be 30 at launch because I think they said it's not going to be fully optimized until later. So
well, I think that was the original plan for that, but now with the fact of it being delayed and they're putting extra time into it.
Nah, it's still not gonna be because they said very recently, that it's the update for Series X that's gonna give its improvements. That's coming later, so it might get 60 on the Series X, but on the One X that's gonna be 4K 30 or maybe a 4K. Yeah, we'll soon see. We don't even know.
Or 1440, yeah.
4K, like I like to call that.
Yeah. Now the thing that we haven't seen is the automatic boosted improvements. Like we haven't really seen that fully on the X. I know they said there's certain games that the devs don't have to come in; that you automatically just get HDR 4K and higher frame rate. Now I don't know if that higher frame rate would mean. I mean, it would. I mean, for us to get it, I mean, I guess similar to the One X, it would have to be unlocked to give us something like. But then it will, who knows what it would look like because it would be unoptimized. So it might give us 60, but it might be like all over the place. It might bounce between 45 and 60. It might bounce between 60 and 80. Who knows? You know. So that I don't know, but I mean it is disappointing regardless of how you see it. I mean I know that probably the next iteration of it should run a lot better and should run at 60. You would hope, you know. But when it comes to these cross-gen games, there's always going to be sacrifice. Because I went back to play Black Flag recently, and man, that's not a pretty game, dog.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, no, I did look at that.
I
It wasn't very
implore
good.
anybody who has go back and play that game. You don't have to play it. Just go boot that bad boy up and look what that game looks like, and then look at a game like Unity that was buggy as shit, and it doesn't have 4K or none of that shit. Unity is just a standard game, but they did fix up issues they have. Those two games were night and day. So at the beginning of Gen, I don't know. I would say this. The games it'll still look better than what we got at the beginning of last gen going into this gen, but it's still disappointing that we can't get 60 frames per second. I mean, I guess uh, to me, they should at least say that they're gonna attempt to try to give it to us. That's my big thing. And the only thing with Assassin's Creed because they make them shit so like damn near annually that it's like, well, who knows if we're gonna get them to actually update it because they're always looking at the next. So that's the big issue. Like Cyberpunk, you're not gonna get another game. Like when we get The Witcher 2015, this is 5 years later, you're gonna get a game from them. So obviously they'll update their shit, and they want you to buy all the DLC that they're gonna give us with that shit, like they did with The Witcher. So it makes sense for them to update their shit. But with Assassin's Creed, I don't know if they will. They're probably gonna have a shit ton of content that they did with Odyssey, but again, I don't know. And the weird part is like this game isn't as
Hold
like
on for a second. Hold on,
big.
live. I want
Yeah,
everybody to look at this right here that can look at the screen. Look
what
that
you
that picture of that girl was off of Unreal Engine 4, not 5, but
what
4.
you talking
There's
about?
still well, you got to
What
look at
he's
the
showing on the
It's a
yeah,
screen.
what I'm
video
showing
stream
what I
right
showed in the
now.
video.
I
Yeah,
see it.
this looked like an absolutely real person until they broke this down. So you know what I'm saying I'm going to let you finish live, but I just wanted to point out this aspect of it is that look, man, and I'm sure the more that we get to talk, because it's going to roll back around, hopefully. But I wanted to point that out, like. This is just Unreal 4. Unreal 5 is just in the beginning. There is still a lot that these developers can do with the Unreal 4 engine. So
Unreal
let's not
5 isn't even going to be out till next year
yeah
anyway,
until next year
and
anyway.
probably late next year the way he's talking about it.
Well, well, we'll talk about that as well. But I just wanted to point that out. Like all this stuff that you're seeing is Unreal Engine 4. I definitely want to point that stuff out because there's so many people that's giving out so much misinformation, and and that's why I wanted to kind of get into this topic about the whole 40 frames, 30 frames, about what we're seeing here with graphics. What is it that's more? And that's what I'm going to ask you live. Before I'm going to let you finish, and then I'm going to ask you this question. Go ahead, finish what you got to say live, and then I'm going to ask you this question.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I mean, the games that we're gonna see, as far as them giving us what we want us in the beginning of gen, who knows? Who knows? Sometimes you do see things like that will cross gen as far as like 2K and and Madden, but sometimes the devs because of the way the game's built, get done. But so what's your question?
My question is, so at the end of the day, what's more important to you, frames or graphics? Like when you going to buy a new console, and we all know that it takes a while for new consoles to get to really start showing what they're worth later down the line when the developers really start getting into and tapping into what the new technologies are. But when you buy a new console, and people in the chat, please let me know as well, what is the most important thing? Is it the dynamic feature of it or is it the performance? Now, I know both is absolutely important, but I want either or. I don't want both. I want to hear either or. The dynamic feature where you can see graphics look like this, while this is Unreal Engine 4 as you see right here, or is it that it's the frames per second? Let me know live. What's more important to you?
And I think I would have told you before I bought PC, it'd have been graphics.
Okay.
I definitely would have said it would have been graphics.
All right.
But now that I have my PC and I'm able to choose the frame rates, I think I'm definitely gonna go with the frame rates. And the only reason why I say that is because there's things you see when the frame rates are higher that you don't even notice when you're at 30 frames per second. It's almost like you're looking at a completely different game. It's like, oh shit, this was there. I didn't even notice that shit was there. Wait, this is there? Like, there's movements and things of that nature that she just pops a lot different.
Mhm.
Shit is 60 versus 30. It just does,
Mhm.
So I would definitely go with frame rates.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Let me go on to you, Lemon. Let me ask you this. Give me your thoughts about the whole situation with the Assassin's Creed
Take a deep
Valhalla.
breath before you go in, Lemon.
Hey, no. Go in. Let us
No,
know.
because I already know
First
he's
of
gonna
all,
say something.
Yeah, is
First of-
is all this scrutiny that's going on that people that's going after Ubisoft because they decided to start using DirectX 11 instead of going to 12 or whatever that's the more modern at the time when they started development. Is that a problem? Is the other problem is that they catering to more to the fan base of the hardware for this generation, the next generation? Do you feel that it's necessary for them to get all this hate that they're getting before the for the 30 frames per second versus the 60? And I will ask you the same question after you get done, like I asked live.
First, there's no definitive between frames and graphics. It depends on the genre of game. And I said it in GRG today, and I've been saying it over the frame or nowhere. Okay. I prefer graphics. On certain games, you need games, shooters.
You're breaking up.
I don't have
You're breaking up. I'm just saying your mic is breaking up. I'm just saying.
You hear me now? Dang. And it's the same as when we was in the chat. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. But go ahead, keep going.
So there's no definitive answer for any particular game. Now, how long have I?
Maybe you was trying to talk low like me, and it ain't gonna work. You ain't got the milky voice like I do.
You got a milky voice? Pause. If you got a milky voice, I'm gonna have to revoke your friendship.
Man, my voice is milky past the cereal. That's an old East Coast line from an old East Coast rapper. You should know your history, son. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
But let me say this for the record. I told you from last year, and I even said this. How long have I been telling you 30 frames ain't going nowhere? Now, when I built my PC, it came with The Witcher, right?
The Witcher.
And at the time, it was a high-end graphic card. It was a 980 when I bought the card, right? It came with The Witcher. You could push everything to, almost max, but nobody was running that game at 60 frames. It's too much going on in the open world. If you want it to look good, if you want all this lighting, you want all this anti-aliasing with smooth edges everywhere. You want conversations happening 10 miles down the road. Open world games are 30 frames. 90% of PC players on high end are playing these games at 30 frames. When they move to 60, those ultra settings start to drop to medium. Those anti-aliasing by 8 starts to drop by 4. It's more processing power. Frame. You got to double the work at 60. Open world games do not need to be 60 frames. And anybody on PC knows when they start pushing for those high frame rates, their resolution will drop, and damn sure those special effects are gonna start dropping because it takes triple processing power in an open world game than it does with a game like a Mortal Kombat or Call of Duty, which is just one level. There's not nothing going on outside that level. It's just you, players, and the gunshots. So when you hear these people complaining about all this 30 frames, it's not going anywhere. And for the people that was, are we into that? You talking about the demo yet? No, right?
No, we ain't talking about the demo yet. But you can look at this demo right here. Hey, shout out to you know what? Shout out to the Unreal Engine 4. Man, you know what I'm saying? Crackdown 3 could have used this.
and another thing with using DirectX 11, there's nothing wrong when the developer chooses to use something that they can 100% utilize for a console. DirectX 11 ain't holding them back because the new DirectX 12 is called DirectX 12 Ultra or something, and they possibly Ultimate. So they not. It's probably not even ready for them to use. You don't know if that's ready from Microsoft. It's in the works, but you don't know if it's ready. You know what I'm saying? But for these people to be complaining and acting like when they buy a console, they're worrying about frame rates. Console players haven't worried about frame rates only in shooters and fighters and races.
Lemon, say that one more time, please. That's what I've been waiting for.
Players have not been buying consoles for frame rates.
Whoa!
They only been worrying about it in 3 generations: shooters, fighters, and racers.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
This is coming from somebody who played Rainbow
Please,
Six.
give it to them one more time. Tell them one more time. Tell them
Rainbow
one
Six
more
Vegas,
time.
1 and 2.
One more time. One more time.
Do not buy consoles for frame rates. They buy only thing they worry about: racers, shooters, and fighters. That's it. Open world games are 90% times they are frames a second. Cause it still can't hit 30 frames a second graphically, but that thing drops to 15 frames, 20 frames. It's the worst open world game frame rate to date. To date. Because there's too much going on. And then you want to tell me, oh, we should play this in 60. Yeah, okay. I don't care how look. Well, we'll get to the demo, but I'm just telling you, y'all need to reel it in. They need to reel it in because half of these complaints y'all not built for anyway. Y'all don't even understand what it takes to push a 60 frame game open world. Because if you had to build a PC to play Grand Theft Auto 5 on Ultra at 60 frames, it's more than $2,000. I guarantee you. A dude's like, no, my PC at 1,200 from Best Buy. No, stop lying.
Yeah,
I
could you
application
1440p at 60
right,
frames.
But no,
on my 2080.
You know, not 4K. You got to start dialing back.
No. I said 240p on my.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about you live. I'm talking about what the idiots are saying. They want all the superficial. This is 30 frames. How dare they? 30 frames. Hold up, Duke. Stop. What's your PC pushing? Because 90, you know the market. People are not
or if they
even
have a PC to push.
Right.
Well,
they out here feeding themselves.
But I,
Hey,
but I'm saying
hey,
if
shout
you
out
give
to
me
my
that people
hold
the
on.
option
Shout out to my boy
of
Crispy.
240p,
Go ahead and
60,
get that pants off dance off, man. Make sure that you wear that mask. Make sure that you get
Oh damn.
Hold on, that's
some kind of
definitely
distancing.
Right.
Yeah, so
Also
make
got
sure
some
that
bills
you
to
got
pay,
some
brother.
social distancing going on with there. So make sure that you perform in the into the back end area. Don't try to get up there doing, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can't do the pants off dance off. I can't promote the pants off dance off because of the pandemic that's going on, but I can support hunching and things of that nature. So good luck. Hope everything is all right with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Have a
Just
good
do
damn
these
time.
things.
Yo, Lemon, you got
Yo,
some
shout out to my boy Zink.
K Mega.
Remember who you
What?
talking to, my guy. You know you my guy. But if they do something in games, something's being compromised on the open world game. That is it's not fiction. I don't care how full your GPU is. I don't care. It happens on PC.
yeah,
Not change. I'm gonna take a pause.
yeah.
Teraflops is a lot. Yes, the system's optimized. Say it couldn't do it, but I said once you do it, you're turning something else off. That's a fact. You're not gonna have ultra settings, 60 frames on GTA.
You can get it
Not for no $500 or
240p.
$600, and you damn sure ain't building no PC under 2 racks doing it. That's a fact.
Yeah, mine's like
So,
3.
yeah, my
But
PC is over $3,000. I can't do it.
Go
yeah,
ahead,
You
live.
know what I'm saying? I'm
I'm
taking from
playing
experience.
Say what you're
My
gonna say,
opinion.
live. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna live, and Lemon, you can go ahead and finish. But go ahead. What you gonna say,
No,
live?
I'm playing GTA 5 right now. As we speak,
Mm-hmm.
1440p, 60 frames per second, and everything ultra. It looks better than what it at that than 4K 30. It just does.
Right. Exactly. You
Again,
prove
you
my
gotta
Well,
have
you
the
have
money. You gotta have
a better performing you got a better performing system than what is on the on the Xbox One X or on the PlayStation Pro. So of course it's
Yo,
going to
now look,
perform
well, I
and be
don't.
when
I
better.
you
don't.
turn it, when you just
Maybe.
take the
I don't-
setting, right?
Right.
Leave everything alone and just up it to 4K. What happens?
Oh man, everything.
What's the performance look like? When you leave it on ultra from 2K, when you make it 4K, what happens?
Everything.
Slows
Everything looks
down.
like a blurry.
Yeah, slows down.
It looks like
Uh-uh.
motion blur. Like everything is at 30
It's a
frames
different
per second,
beast.
but it's like
Mhm.
motion blur.
Right. So
And I didn't even say turn it to 60. I just
No.
said up the resolution.
right.
Yeah.
So
Different beast.
he can't turn that game to, and that game is 7 years old, 8 years old right now. So
Yeah.
so
But I'm talking
that
about you
tells
gotta,
you
you
right
gotta,
there.
It
you gotta
runs
keep
better,
everything.
yeah.
You gotta put in.
Remember this, been saying it for a year. I told Mega this a minute ago. 30 frames ain't going nowhere for
You need to be
certain
telling
games.
me something about that damn mic because you keep cutting in and out.
For me,
No, Lemon.
Maybe the host ain't got the bandwidth, sucker.
Oh, I got the bandwidth. Everybody
Because
else
I hear
sound
y'all
clear.
fine.
Everybody sound clear. You ain't. Don't talk about
I
my
don't know what to tell
bandwidth.
you.
I don't know. Well, where you made the mistake. No, you can still talk because I'm gonna still hear you.
Maybe my gain is too loud on my mic. I'll turn that down.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, that's probably what it is. Because you over there doing too much over there. You
hang out,
always try to do too much over there, and then next thing stuff happens.
whatever.
Okay? Yeah. Anyway, so all right.
Oh, you got some bills to pay.
Where's the? Oh, that's right. There is some bills to pay.
Ooh,
Thank you
shout
so
out to the loser. Loser's back in the building. He know who he is. Hey,
Stop
loser.
it. Anyway,
Hey.
Henosis, thank you so much. He says, great show, chat. Best wishes to everyone here, and hope all is coping well during the quarantine. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I
Same
do,
to you, brother.
and I hope everybody is doing well during this time. If you have to work or if you don't, I hope everybody is doing well, safe. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's still a lot to go on. I mean, I am not going to get into my politics my politics. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to turn this into some politics, but Lord have mercy. There's a lot of shit. People got to be a lot more careful about what's going on in this situation, man. There's people that's lying to you, trying to get you out there to get to for you to be the guinea pig instead of for them. And I guarantee you, they're quarantined, but they're trying to tell you how to live your life. That shit right there is inexcusable in my opinion. But like I said, I'm going to refrain. All right, let me go to
one more that just popped. You should handle that now before.
Oh, look at my man right there. Dragonheart Yobi. Hey, do anybody else want to read that? Do anybody
You know
else
what?
want to read that?
I'll
Go
read
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
Read
that, man, and put some emphasis in your voice. And I don't want to hear. And I don't want your. I don't want your mic to be fucked up when you read this.
No, you can hear me, right? I turned down the gain.
Oh yeah, you sound good. You sound great. So go ahead, put some emphasis.
Mega,
Put that
the greatest of all time. What the heck? TYMEBKA. What?
Hey man, that's the young kid shit, but I'm with it. I'm with it. I'll just roll with it. That's the young kid shit. I'm with it.
The greatest soul that ever exists. D through all time and space. Suckers. What? Yeah, I don't know.
Hashtag suckers.
Yo,
that's what I'm talking about. Hey,
listen,
hey,
it's split up on my screen, bloody. Split up. It said exists. D is on another line.
It said existed. Let you be country. Hey, bloody.
Let me be illiterate.
Bloody.
No.
That's how it's split up on my screen, son.
Hey, do you want to read that for me?
You're gonna need some glasses to be reading.
Nah, son, I can read. I'm on a 65-inch, boo. Stay focused.
Damn,
be able to see it.
What's going on
he's
here?
acting real weird right now.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so thank you. I'll read it. I'll just sit there and I just wanted somebody to read that shit because that shit is hot. I need. This shit is hot.
You need the moral support.
I do. I need the moral support. Dragonheart Yobi in the house. He says K Mega, aka the greatest of all time. BKA, the greatest soul ever existed through all time and space. Hashtag suckers. Listen to that. You know what? I need to send that to all my haters right there to let them know. Just put that in their DMs. Just say, hey, I was thinking about you today, and this is what I want. This is what I want to throw to you. Wow. Anyway, thank you. Anyway.
Oh, I know. I spreaded the chat a little bit longer. Okay, it's better now. Now it makes sense. Before it was too small. Before it was too, you know how you could slide the page over on Mixer? So it was breaking the words up. I'm like,
so
what?
So it's saying your bandwidth was like, what? Your bandwidth was bad, sucker.
No. Oh,
let me talk about it. Anyway. All right. Anyway. So let me go on to my boy. Let me go to my boy PK Live, man. I can't wait to hear what you think about this whole situation. Do you think that the whole Assassin's Creed Valhalla situation, is it a bad look for Ubisoft? And then I'm going to ask you the same question after you get done. Give me your thoughts.
So, somebody in the chat mentioned something earlier. Respect logo, and it kind of matches up, and it kind of echoes what Lemon just said. So, understanding how tech works, right? So, as far as the 60 frames a second argument, it depends on the game, right? Multiplayer games, it should be expected to have higher frame rate. It makes sense. You know, there's not a lot. You get when you play in multiplayer games, your arena is loaded, and then you just got a bunch of people to add. That's it.
Thanks.
But when it comes to single player games, you got to load a world. That's a lot of CPU power, even on mine, and I have an RTX 2080 with a 6-core i7 87 running Origins. It runs mine at 90% CPU usage, and that's at 30 frames per second.
You cooking
that's
bacon
right.
on that?
No. Hold on, PK. Please educate him. Say that again. Tell him what you got, and say it again.
I have an RTX 2080.
No, tell him how much that costs.
No. We ain't gonna talk about the money. We ain't gonna talk about the money. We ain't gonna talk about the money aspect.
But the point I'm making is,
it makes the point.
No, it makes the point.
Okay.
Because the price of that graphic card is outperforming dudes whole PCs.
All right. So how much is it?
It uses a lot of CPU usage. So typically, Ubisoft likes their games at 30 frames for many reasons. One, they like the cinematic feel. Okay, I know a lot of people might not agree with that, but they do. They like the cinematic feel, and 30 frames produces this. All right. I don't see a lot of people complaining that Final Fantasy is running at 30 frames, but it looks beautiful, right?
Mm.
I don't see nobody complaining that K-Mega's favorite game, Witcher, runs it better at 30 frames on
The
PC.
Witcher. There you
At
go.
PC, because if you try to turn up those graphics, anti-aliasing and all that, it will look like a Nintendo 64 game. It will not look right.
You
And
listening, Zink?
it will move like you're playing a web game. That's
Uh-huh.
legit. And I got it on PC. I'm telling you that now. It's a CPU intensive thing where you're trying to load a world and everything else behind it. So 30 frames is ideal if you want the graphics in it and everything else in the world. You have to sacrifice something. Unless you're trying to run a server as a server board on your machine, I don't see it happening for a regular PC or console. It just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to put that much into it when you got so many different combinations, right? So let's not look at the console, let's just look at the PC as they have the hardware capable of doing it, but you can't do it, right? So that's my thing. If you can't do it on PC, then how can you do it on console? It just doesn't make sense. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Like,
No, you
No,
stating the facts.
I mean, you're talking
That's
as
a fact.
you're
What you
talking
said.
as
That's
a
not
person that
opinionated.
that spent the money for PCs, that spent the money for a capable PC to push anything that's out there in the market right now. And that's why I wanted to hear, because I mean we still got to hear Flair. I know Bloody has a PC as well. I don't know about Op. I know Live
so
has one. I have one. I don't have a 1080 Ti though. I have a 2070. So it's different for me, but it
so
is what it is.
so I know we talked about, and this is what I wanted to say is
Mhm.
You're doing better than most, K-Mega.
we have to stop
What'd you say? I'm
complaining.
doing what?
You're doing better than most.
Oh, true that.
We have to
But
stop complaining and trying to nitpick. Like,
Yep.
Assassin's Creed is going to be Assassin's Creed. People going to still play it and going to buy it. They typically do not care if it's 30 frames. Mainly because how many single player games have you played that runs at 60 frames that has this kind of world
That's open world.
that you can load into? How many? How many games have you played? I'm pretty sure you can. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, Odyssey, even that it only. I'm telling you now, it drops to about 40 to 45 frames when you go into a city. It cannot. It is not stable. That's why
Nope.
they choose 30 frames locked on a console,
Locked.
because it's stable. When you go on a PC, it's not stable. It
No sir.
drops.
I
It's
don't care what you.
impossible to stay at 60 frames. It's just not happening. And that's what we have to look at as reality. And then when we look at this tech demo, because I don't call it a game from Epic, right? That was a tech demo. That's not a game. I don't think anybody said it was a game. Like,
No, it's not a
name of
game. It's
it.
a tech demo.
So when they showed this, they're showing the different things they can do with light and how it bounces off surfaces, which is cool. But just remember, they don't have things like ray tracing or variable ray shading or none of that stuff turned on this tech demo. It's literally just their pure engine running this, which means that anything, and it's showing how scalable it is, right? So technically, they can run this on the Switch if the Switch can support Unreal Engine 5. So let's just get past this PlayStation thing. When I know they use PlayStation wanted something to market, so this is why they chose this platform. That's cool. Maybe that's the best thing they did all year. I don't know, but it's still just a tech demo of showing what the little features that Unreal Engine 5 is trying to offer, because people got to pay for this license. And I think a lot of companies such as EA, Microsoft, um, even Square is trying to develop their own engine to get away from licensing this expensive graphics engine, right? So they're trying to keep keep selling
I would say
licenses.
there's examples of the opposite too. Like look at Namco. They heavy with this Unreal Engine. A lot of their games, as in the past couple
Yeah, but
years.
Namco don't make good engines.
Right, this is why they went to that. Square doesn't either, which is another.
You don't see EA doing that. They got that frostbite.
Square doesn't either, which is another company he named because they had their Luminous engine that they were going to use in that
They
Final
didn't scrap
Fantasy
it, though.
Online.
They didn't scrap it.
Well, they still went to Unreal for two.
Well, but they
because
did. But he
titles
also
and
said,
so
but
they
hold on,
problems.
Slayer. But he did. But Zampella said also. He said that I think that EA is going to go back to using more of the Frostbite engine
Yes, they are.
because
I'm just
making that point.
Push back a little bit there, Sick, because I want to say this. Companies are looking at how can we save money. Now, as far as Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts 3, the reason why they went with Unreal is to get it out quicker because everyone's familiar. We are already familiar with this, so it's easier to build it. Their stuff. I mean, look at Microsoft. Their Halo took years to build this engine. I mean, it takes time for this.
Yeah.
It takes time to build it, and it takes time to get used to it. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that they're going to scrap it. I'm telling you now, this is starting to trend, just like the streaming war trend. Once they see how much money they can save by doing in-house, they're going to start investing into R&D on that. Trust me, it's going to be
there are some developers, some publishers who are looking at the cost of developing their own in-house engine and have had drama and trouble behind that. Look at Konami. We want to talk about Hideo Kojima and that engine. What's the name of that engine that he used in Metal Gear? Fox engine. And all the drama.
So
that's what. But see, that
let's just not talk about Konami because they're not really making games.
I know.
Okay,
no, but that doesn't change the fact that they made a proprietary engine.
Right.
Listen, but the engine. Listen. They ain't making no games. But I am gonna say something. Hold on. Slow down, Japanese antagonists. Slow down.
Because y'all over here going all crazy just because
nobody's going crazy on Konami. Nobody's going crazy on Konami. You're exaggerating. They talked about Konami. You caught your Japanese feelings. Stop it.
Shut up right there. I was like, I'm talking because of the fact that they made me see what the Fox engine was capable.
Stop, man.
All right. So let's just say you're right about that. That's not stopping the fact that Square did not scrap their engine. EA did not scrap their engine. Microsoft definitely is not scrapping their engine, and they're moving forward with this. Yes, they still licensing Unreal, but that's just for now.
That's not.
Can I say something real quick? Interrupt you, PK.
Okay, yeah, because y'all like to interrupt PK a lot. Nobody interrupt you.
No, I asked because I have something that everybody's missing. First of all,
make this point.
Every generation of Unreal is showcased on some type of game. Okay, usually it has started with the Unreal Tournament series. They'll show what the Unreal was able to do. Yeah, they're making a game for us. They're showcasing it to developers to jump on board. Then it went to Gears.
Gears 4 was showcased in Unreal 4.
Right. No, I'm talking about Gears originally. First Gears was showcased in Unreal.
All Gears has been on Unreal.
Right. But that turned into when Unreal Tournament didn't sell no more, Gears was the go-to or what Unreal could do. And not just showing this tech demo to say, oh, this is what PlayStation 5. He's showing a tech demo to the devs like, okay, this is what they could do. Y'all want to get into our licensing program? Because they changed the whole model. They sell it now. Now you can get it, and as your game starts to make money, you pay the dues back to them. You don't have to pay up front no more. They changed their model.
Also changed
people are building their own. Right, and they one more thing they did. They just slipped my mind. Man,
interrupting.
No, it's all right. But they definitely changed the way they showcased that and sell their game. I mean, sell their engine because people are building their own engine, like Ubisoft with their Snowdrop or Snow something.
Snowdrop.
Yeah,
Snowdrop. That's awesome. EA never really bought into them. They've been making Unity, engine, right? Yeah. They've been making by every generation grades like Unreal. So they definitely ain't using it. So people are cutting into what Epic was doing. So like, it's a good showcase. It shows you what it could do. It's not
Right.
about really PlayStation 5 because it's going to be on Xbox also. It's just a
Right,
great,
right.
it's a
It's
great looking
mainly
engine.
just to showcase the
Yes.
graphics engine. So
Yes.
and one other thing I wanted to point out, kind of what Lemon touched on, is that the new Assassin's Creed is using DX11, and I just want to remind everyone, DX11 does not, unlike DX12, does not resource your CPU cores. So it does not know how to balance your CPU versus your GPU far as its threading. So it's much different on DX12. So that's why it may not be possible to run at 60 frames on that game just
Right.
because of the resources needed to. I mean, it's just not possible. Period. You know what I mean? You need too much horsepower on the CPU end. Like I said, you damn near need a server board to run a full world with 60 frames. And honestly, you're
Yes.
not going to notice any difference. I mean, you're playing a single player game. You're going to enjoy it regardless. It's a cinematic feel. It is what it is. In multiplayer games, for sure, it's to be expected because you're moving real fast and you need those fast little details right away. Like that's just, and I'm sorry for taking all this much time. I
No, no,
just
no, no,
kind of
no.
trying to touch on
No,
everything.
no, 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 no. Take all the time you want to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Look, I wanted you to give your expertise on this. Everybody else will have their turn. So you're fine. You're absolutely fine. So take the time, take all the time you want.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what it is. The tech demo is just a tech demo. It's not a game. It's not showing any of the other features that if it was turned on, what would this? Because think about it, if you turn on ray tracing or variable rate shading or any of that other stuff, a lot of those features you may not be able to have on at the same time. Because again, you have to sacrifice something to show something else. So you might have to do some sort of balancing act, right? You might have to do something to be able to get this to show. Now, to see the features, that's good. And that's, like I said, it is next gen, but everyone's developing their version of what can we take advantage of to do in-house to save money. Because if we could do it in-house, we don't have to pay licensing fees. We can just do our own thing. And I'm pretty sure everyone is, all of the big companies who have pockets to do that will invest in R&D to do that. That's for sure. And that is going to be a trend going forward. But that's all I got to say on that.
Cool. I will say this. Well, I gotta ask you this though, and you can make this a quick answer, before I go to op. Um, what is more important to you in a sense of a single player, not multiplayer, not driving, fighting, any a single player experience? What is more
I,
important to you? Uh, you know what I'm saying? Is it the dynamic aspect at steady frames at 30 frames per second, or is it you drop the resolution and give me 60? Which one? That
I
maybe
would
that's how I should have
rather,
asked live that question, and limit that question too. But I mean, what do you think? What do you think?
I prefer to have a locked frame with beautiful graphics on a single player title.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to know. That's what I want to know. Live, give me a quick simple answer on that because I didn't really ask that in that way. What's more important to you in that retrospect? Is it 60 frames per second, or death, or is it, kind of like I asked PK, 4K 30 is it steady frames, or is it, look, I got to have 60 frames, no compromise?
Uh, I think it's. I would go with the prettiest experience.
Okay.
That's the best
The
answer.
dynamic. Okay.
So,
All right.
so if it looks better at 60, give you
Hmm.
30 frames per second with ultra, then give me it that way. That's how best,
Okay.
because
That
I mean, at the
that's
end of the day,
what
that's what
that's
you
what I
want.
should have
That's what
asked
you
you
want
instead of
anyway,
how I
right?
asked you the first time. Yeah.
I mean, because regardless, even people that are asking for 60, asking for 60 because feel it looks better.
Right.
That's why you're asking for it. Like if
Okay.
60 didn't look better, you wouldn't care about it. Like, cause think about it. If somebody gave you, it's like, I'm gonna give you a choice between this game and that game. You can watch. You could look at it at 30, and it looks like Tomb Raider. Or you could look at it at 60, and it looks like Minecraft. Which one you want? Like, bro, give me 30 seconds. 30 frames per second, and I'll rock out that way. I want to play a Tomb Raider game that looks like Minecraft. You know, but that's basically it.
That's basically it. Okay, Lemon, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is more important to you when it comes to a single player experience? So Lemon had to go put his bunny into some Epsom salt. So
Lemon there.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, I'll come back to him. Trust me, he'll come back in here. Or he might have fell asleep. Maybe them drugs. He said he wasn't gonna take them, but you know what I'm saying? Never know. I don't know. So let me go to you, Op. What is Valhalla? Is it getting a bad rap because of console gamers kind of jumping into the fold now, trying to act like they're PC enthusiasts, or is it a legitimate reason to be upset with PC gamers, right? I mean to be with is it legitimate to be upset with what Ubisoft was saying about the 30 frames per second?
Yes, I think this whole situation is overblown because let's be honest, like right now, we're going to the next generation right now. Like PC's a thing. So frames per second is really this big of an issue for people about this. Pick your ass PC. You cannot sit here and be mad next generation console or next generation console. Then on top of that, a developer choosing or as we're right now, at least shooting for 30 FPS for their game at this point. Like come on, plus on top of that, some people are complaining pieces as well. And some are saying they're not going to buy this patch on the Xbox Series X. I'm like, if you have a PC, play on your PC. If you don't want to play on your PC, shut the fuck up and play on your Xbox. Like, you literally have the option to go on a different platform, get the performance that you wanted to. You don't want to, you want to play on console. But at that point, it's on you. Because I'm going to play at 60 FPS until it does get patched later on, if it does at this point. This is so stupid, man. Like, get it, if you don't have to like 30 FPS. Certain games it is pretty hard to tackle, like FPSs, fighters, races, stuff like that. Those games they have to have high frames because they're very competitive at that point. Whereas some cases with single player games like this, they're not competitive. Usually more allowed to at this point because like you're not necessarily in it to be competitive. You're in for the story of it at that point. So for me, it's just this whole story is really overblown. What gets on my nerves most to people. I really take a subjective argument. I'm making an objective at this point. Well, at the end of the day, it's really just your opinion. You're just mad. In fact, you have options of the different platform, play on performance that you want it at. Like, we really have people out here arguing, saying, like, no, you should feel a certain way. You should vote your wallet. You should not allow this in the game community. I'm like, hold on, roll the shit back real quick. One, it's not World War II propaganda. Like, you need to cut that mess out right now. You sound a little damn dictator. Tell people how they should feel and think about this.
Right.
Two, who is we? Because as far as I can tell right now, we are taking the console player base, try to box them into a mindset they have never given a damn about for most of the time gaming right now. Let's be honest, the whole FPS, 30 versus 60, most console players don't give a damn about that. Only people who are bothered by that are people who play on PC or people who are aware of that at this point. That community is very, very minute at this point. So we really have these people out here preaching the masses saying how they should feel about the situation, or they'll later on say they don't want to. Keep going back and forth. Really need to people pick a side right now. Either you're going, people having a different opinion, or you're going to keep rolling with this bullshit that you're doing right now. There is no right or wrong. It's really just how you feel at the end of the day. This is not a crisis. It's not an issue that people are not bothered at 30 FPS. You're trying to get an issue that has to be because you're just being disingenuous right now because you're letting your feelings get up to you at this point. Because you're really trying to think about how they should feel about the situation. It's not that big of a deal. Like, that's just fucked up in my opinion. Like, people, y'all gotta roll back and ease off the trigger right now because it is not that serious. Like, if this bothers you that bad, just take your ass PC. It is that simple. And some of you have an option, like I said before. Like, I don't get it.
I hit you on the ass on the way out.
Exactly, man. Y'all here bitching for no reason. There's an option. Like, the grass is on our side. You can really go over it if you want to, but you're choosing not to. You want to push this narrative. Try to make people who feel differently from you feeling wrong, which is bullshit.
Man. I totally agree. So let me ask you this question too. And before I go to Bloody, I'm gonna let Slayer be the last one on this one. The same question. What would you rather have on a single player performance? And I'm going to answer a question to my boy ABA Cab 72 I always say that wrong. Everybody
It's
else says it right.
Abacab.
Abacab, right. I just say ABA Cab. But
Abba Dabba.
yeah, Abba Dabba. Snuffleupagus. 72, my boy. Anyway, but no, I'm going to answer that after I get to Op. But I'm going to ask you this same question. What is more important to you? Is it the dynamic when it comes to newer consoles, or if you were a purchaser of the Xbox One X or the PlayStation Pro, what's the more important thing for you? Is it the frames, the frames per second that may not be locked, or is it the locked frames per second and the better visuals? Which one is more important to you with a single player experience?
For me, it depends on the game at that point. Let me say this though. Like, for me, when I think this is subjective, when I think of next gen, I really think more so how graphics can be pushed to the next level. We've had high FPSs for fucking years at this point, decades. 60 FPS, 120, those are nothing new right now. You'll be able to hit that shit for years. Going to the next generation, yes, it'll be great to hit those on certain games. But for me, I want to see how visuals are pushed to the next level right now because we have 4K TVs as well. Some of them get higher refresh rates. But for me, the higher clarity we have with these TVs as well, and monitors as well, I want to see more definition. Well, not more definition, but more clarity. I just want to see better visuals overall, just to simplify it. I want to see how things look better and better, either from full realism or just from style style. Like, I mean, that's what I kind of expect out of it. Now, to try to be more specific, depends on the game for you, FPS or the visuals. Because a game like Doom Eternal, single player game, it's FPS at that point. And how the game is set up, precision and timing, your skills play a heavy part in the campaign, and multiplayer too as well. So for me, next type of setting, FPS are king at that point because it's more crucial to my experience in the game, which is the visuals. Games like Assassin's Creed or not Creed. Well, usually for me, usually open world RPGs in that sense, or other genres as well, or RTSs. For me, on a console base, I usually prefer visuals at that point. And that's really just my opinion because I'm not necessarily bothered by FPS at that. Whatever. I allow it in a certain sense. Game like Tomb Raider as well. I usually go back between higher FPS or visuals at that point because Tomb Raider is a single player game. And there is some skill needed, especially higher difficulties. But like for me, like it really just depends how I feel that day. It's a mixed bag for me, whether it's gonna be FPS or visuals. But yeah, it just depends on the game for me.
Okay. All right. So let me answer my boy right there because he came to me with this one, and and this is where's it at? He says, K Mega, they overhyped the show and said it was going to be gameplay when it wasn't. All right. So you know what I'm saying? Look, I got love for everybody that agrees or disagree with me. I made my point on next podcast, and I'm going to make my point again. I'm going to make my point again before I go to Bloody, and I'm going to go to Slayer. Thank you, Lady Infamous, for the for the embers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead. While saying this, go ahead and check out the ladies, my girls out there, man. Much support, much love for them. The GWG podcast out there, doing the damn thing on YouTube. Check them out in the mornings, lady. If you want to, go ahead and post what time did you ladies show up. Because it's different times. I think it's 11 o'clock for me on Central Time, but uh your West Coast time and East Coast time is definitely different, and I don't care about that because only the God's time, you know what I'm saying, the Lord's time is Central Time, in my opinion. So go check those ladies out at GWG. They had a really great show last week. They had a guest. It was really cool. Good conversation. They have a lot of they have a lot of topics, and they also have a couple of Rough Riders in their group. So go check those ladies out. GWG. You know what I'm saying? Much love for the ladies. Let me make
This
this point.
commercial was brought to you by K-Mega.
No, okay, so you got finished clipping your toenails. All right, so anyway, so let me go let me go ahead and do this, right? Because you know what, this and this isn't personally attacking you, you know what I'm saying? 72. This is just me just going in. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Xbox fans keep getting in their own way. They keep coming out with bullshit instead of coming out with facts or truths because they keep listening to everybody else. They keep waiting for other people to make other to make the narrative work for them. Instead of coming out there just making a point. Now, look, you could be completely different in saying, oh man, I was so hyped for the show, but then when they showed Valhalla, a third party, let me make this clear again, a third party that isn't with Microsoft, they hyped that because they spent millions of dollars to be that third party. They hyped that game, and because that game is Ubisoft's decision for that game to be 30 frames per second, you're and other people out here going to make this assumption that it was Microsoft not showing gameplay? We really going to start getting into this whole situation about our last topic is going to be talking about the Ghost of Tsushima. And I don't want anybody else because PK bleed into what we were talking about into the demo situation and all that, but I'm not going to bleed into it. But what I'm going to say with this is that I think that's asinine. I think it's silly for anybody to make that assumption when they're over here. Why would you be mad at Xbox when it's Ubisoft's decision? Xbox has no decision on what that company can do with their games. I don't see anybody going after PlayStation for what this. And I'm going to say this point. I am going to bleed over a little bit, and say this. When it comes to the Unreal Engine, and everybody's over here praising Unreal Engine 5, I see, one or two people talking about, oh, Unreal Engine 5, oh my God, yeah. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation is doing this, PlayStation doing it. I got a theory behind that, but I will say this. Out of all the Unreal Engine games that's first party PlayStation is 7 at the max. For Xbox, who's been supporting Epic, 28. Go look it up. I can tell you all the names of the games because I got it written down on a list. But I won't. Go look it up. 28 compared to 7. To 7 in the first party. Everything else has been hyped up off of PlayStation's engine for their first party. Xbox has been hyping up Epic. That's why they have a great relationship. And the reason why, well, I ain't going to get into that. I'll get into that here a little bit later. But there's definitely some marketing, some things that PlayStation is trying to do to go ahead and get good with Epic. And Epic is doing the same thing because it benefits them overall at the end of the day, which is going to make a lot of PlayStation fans pissed off because when I say my theory on it, but the whole point of this is that you do not get upset at Microsoft for what a third party wants to do with their game. And you can't, and if you have been playing Assassin's Creed from the very beginning to now, and now all of a sudden you're trying to be one of those people that's saying, oh man, that ain't 60. I'm not feeling that. That's why we going after Xbox. Then you are the problem more than the solution. Because that game, if it's not going to be 60 frames per second on the Xbox, it damn sure ain't going to be 60 frames per second on the PlayStation. They can cap all they want to about 60 frames, SSDs, so-called RDNA 3s and all that shit. We didn't hear nothing from that, and we won't.
Hey, K-Mega, your mic cut out really bad right there.
I'm sorry. The whole point of the matter is this. Stop. If you're going to blame somebody, blame Ubisoft. Microsoft has nothing to do with that. Like I was saying, like I said on Twitter the other day, you can't blame PlayStation or Xbox for what a third party does. It's their decision on what they want to do with their engine or what they want to do with how what frames that the game is. All they did is just they want to promote the game because they know that the game is popular. Neither company should be blamed for what a third party does.
Now, only assholes do that. want to promote their narrative.
Yeah, no,
of
well, I'm not. You know
this
what I'm saying?
stupid console BS.
And Cab is, and I ain't saying that Cab is over here saying that he thinks that way. I think that what he was presenting to me is what Xbox fans were expecting, and that's why I said, like I said on next podcast last week, is that you guys step in your own way instead of like when we get into the whole topic about Ghost of Tsushima, how PlayStation fans are supposed to act compared to what some so-called Xbox fans acted towards Inside Xbox, which is an embarrassment.
Facts.
Huge embarrassment.
Got people apologizing for no reason.
What the hell is Aaron Greenberg apologizing for?
Facts.
What the hell is he
gameplay
apologizing
trailers
for?
mixed with gameplay.
What is he apologizing for? What is anybody apologizing for anything? Why are you even mad?
And I think the real question is, why is everybody hanging on to one tweet and not multiple sources of info?
Hey, look, like I said, like the ignorance
narrative they're trying to push.
Well, I know the narrative that they're trying to push, but they sound very ignorant, and they keep on acting like, listen, you can't in one sentence. And then I know I'm going long. I'm finna go ahead and go to you, Bloody. Bloody, turn your mic back on. I'm coming back to you, Bloody, because Bloody's like, oh shit, Mega's on his rant. But I'm saying this. You can in 1 second, in 1 minute, talk about, I'm console only. I'm console only. Then in the next goddamn voice, you try to talk about like you a PC rider. You are a fraud. You lied to yourself. You're lying to the people that listen to you. Which one are you? Are you a PC gamer first, or are you a console gamer first? Just because maybe you
right for doing that stuff too.
Yeah, I mean you're frauding the public. Listen, it's okay if you got a PC and you're like, man, I enjoy what PC gives me more than consoles. It's all good. It's all going to come together at the end of the day anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's nothing wrong with you saying that you support PC. The PC method than you do the console method. But you cannot come out and say, well, I'm an Xbox guy, but man, I do support what PC is doing more than what the consoles is doing. Because if that's the case, then you're lying to yourself. Stop. You're listening to the wrong people. I am never going to stir anybody wrong. Never. And nobody on this panel will either. It's you know what I'm saying? Stop taking this shit so literal, because if you have been a console gamer and you claim to be a console gamer from the get, you have always had the underperforming shit compared to somebody who had the money for you know what I'm saying, for damn near 2 decades. You've always had to take the lesser compared to somebody who had the money to spend on their PC that could have the better. And just because you think now, because you got you a little PC and that shit's running a little bit better than the Xbox One S and the PlayStation Pro, trust me, you ain't gonna spend that same type of money when these new when the PlayStation 5 and when the Xbox One Series X come out at launch. You're not. Stop frauding the public and talking like you know what the fuck you're talking about, because you don't. Because that shit is expensive.
Great facts.
All right, so now
let me say something for the record. There's 2 popular games that came out back in the days that sold millions.
Stop it.
First game was Halo 1. The game was 30 frames ultra smooth. Mm-hmm. It's the developer. If you do 30 frames right, the game is smooth. Another game, Project Gotham Racing, was 30 frames. 30. Ultra smooth. Just saying.
Yeah, I
it's the developer, baby. It's about the developer.
It's all about the developer.
Demo,
it's all going to get down
1440p 30. Everybody was like, oh my God.
Listen,
oh my God.
Listen, as you can see right here in this clip
frames.
right there that's going live right now. In this clip right now, if for the people that's not just listening and that's watching the show, you see this right here. This is what my boy Don and other developers are working with right now with the Unreal Engine 4. This stuff looks way better than the demo that we've seen pushing the PlayStation 5. And I'm not saying that they can't push, the PlayStation 5 can't push these same type of graphics, but I'm saying is, like I said in the beginning of the show, is that there is still much more work to be done, and more developers are still going to use the older hardware. Well, a lot of them is going to use the older hardware because it's going to be easier to use until they get all the assets in late 2021. Yeah, until they get all the tech until late 2021 for Unreal Engine 5. But look at this. Can anybody to lie and tell me that this stuff that you're seeing right now from a developer standpoint looks worse than what we've seen from the demo from the PlayStation 5? Come on. No, it looks too real. It looks like it looks like some shit from what's that movie that movie that came out with Ryan Gosling, the sequel to the Blade Runner. It looks like some shit from Blade Runner. Come on. Stop that. All
but
right.
even look what they did with Star Wars. That game is almost photorealistic.
Looks great. Looks great. There's still
Battlefront
more work
looks
to
amazing.
Be done. There's still work to be done.
Yeah, and
there's
that's
still
old
juice
stuff.
between all of these older consoles that's left. I've been told that numerous times, and we see graphics keep getting better and better and better. It's just like when you look at the 360 and the PlayStation 3, how The Last of Us looked and how Halo 4 looked on the PlayStation 3 and on the 360. That's where we're going to get into. That's why both companies are going to wait for 2 years to ease all the rest of the gamers to come, because they know that both of these consoles still have enough juice in them to push out graphics that will be amazing, and games that are just amazing. The frames per second, that right there, PC is probably going to always be king in that category. So that's just my point on it. Let me get Game Down Sites. He said facts. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to now. Well, Bloody had his mic. I'm going to go to you, Slayer. What is your point about the whole situation with Valhalla? And then I'll see if Bloody's. Oh, you here?
He's there now. So
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Bloody. Bloody, what's your whole situation with the Valhalla situation? And I'm gonna go ahead and just ask this question right now for you. Which is more important for you for a single player experience? The dynamic aspect of it, or is it the frames per second?
For me, it's FPS. I was like, one, it comes down to options, and that's without a doubt. But I've played games, and there's quite a few out, even right now on the Xbox, that are beautiful, absolutely. But the thing that always comes down to making gameplay absolutely smoother is always going to be frames. Everyone's talking about an enclosed environment that even if it's a big arena or anything like that, you want to have everything preloaded so it's easy to lock in. Well, even on maps that are relatively large, but even if they're locked in, you still want to be able to prioritize frame rates. I get it that you look at a game the size of GTA and look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yes, those are always going to be hard to do. But I still feel like frame rates are more important, because everyone knows here I've put hours, and I mean hours, into Monster Hunter. That game is beautiful all the way through, but I prefer how smooth it is and how smooth the gameplay is in FPS mode over resolution and even over the balance mode. Because even in the balance mode and even in a game, or even in the resolution, when the frames dip, even if they're capped, they still sometimes have occasions where it can occasionally, very, very rarely, but it can slow down. I want to always be able to push the frames to keep that smoothness, if it helps to keep the gameplay smooth over it always looking pretty. For me, I was excited for Valhalla. I was not mad that it is 4K 30. What they showed during the game, I was like, we've seen how they already pushed everything with Origins. We know that they try to prioritize frame rate, even though they push graphics, even on the One X, right? They had Origins and Odyssey at native 4K, But what they did to prioritize the frame rates while keeping it locked and capped around 30 is that they said that there were instances where there was frame rate dips, but what they did was they had it dynamically downscale and lower the resolution to maintain frame rates. And that's even still for 30 frames. Frame rates are always going to be important. Now, the people who are getting overly pissed off about it, simmer down. The reason I say is that we've seen games be able to push things graphically. We are already seeing what we're able to do with the PS4 Pro and what the One X has done. But graphics will only go so far as we're starting to hit that point where technology, while we're still making advancements, even with graphics and everything still catching up, it's still starting not to stagnate, but it's slowing down compared to the massive jumps we were seeing before. I say, for me, next gen 60 frames has to be a bigger standard. I was like, 30 frames back during the 360 era, and even in the PS3, and even what we have now in the current generation, 60 frames was only achievable with some things. But we've seen games that are able to push those 60 frames a second. We've seen what they're able to do. Look at Microsoft alone. We've seen how much has changed with when they are able to implement 60 frames in their games, especially when they're able to do 4K 60. Now, the biggest thing that I said, because the people who are getting mad over this whole frame rate gate or whatever, they need to chill the fuck out because they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Yes, I get what people were saying. I know what Aaron Greenberg said, that the standard was going to be for the Series X. But again, I was like, he didn't need to clarify, but we know that that's what they're trying to make the standard. And that's going to be coming especially from their first party. You can't tell third-party devs what to do unless you have some sort of deal with them and you're trying to help push a certain aspect. But we've known that Microsoft has had very hands-off and just very supporting, especially what they showed off and what some of those devs are going to come down to. The biggest thing is devs are going to do what their ability is capable of. And we know that with what the optimizations for the Series X are going to show, that's going to push 4K. It's going to push 60. They're going to support DirectX ray tracing. And that's where a lot of it is going to come heavy on to make it very pretty, which we all want. These machines, both the Series X and the PS5, are going to be both very capable pieces of hardware. There is no downplaying that.
Bloody, let me ask you. I was going to ask. Let me ask you this question. With amongst PlayStation fans, and I know that Chris is in here as well, and I'm asking this question as well. What do you think that PlayStation fans is going to push the narrative more for? 60 frames per second or for how those games look visually?
I would hope. I was like, I would hope that most of
no. Don't hope. I'm talking about.
For me, what I'm saying is that
for the PlayStation fans.
What I think they're gonna do. Hang on.
Let's not be diplomatic. Let's be real. Come on, Bloody.
What I'm saying, a real answer. Hang on. Let me put out what I'm trying to say.
Well, you was already being diplomatic. I ain't got time for the bullshit. Let's get to it. Get to the nitty gritty, bro. Come on.
A majority of them are gonna push for what they want to look good. Okay. They're gonna want it to look pretty. But I was saying that we've talked about it before. Everyone needs to keep the same energy. And that's why I was saying I would hope that they want to push frames, but we know that even on both sides, everyone wants everything to look nice and pretty. There's no downplaying that. Xbox fans, PlayStation fans, on all sides of the spectrum, always want everything to look pretty. However, I would hope that we look at what these consoles are going to be capable and start focusing and prioritizing 60 FPS. I was like, yes, I understand that people wanted 60 FPS this current gen, and not wanting the 4K, but I think what we were seeing with the PS4 Pro and what we saw with the Series X or with the One X was that we were able to push 4K with what we have now. We were able to kind of push towards that 4K resolution and everything like that. That's why we were seeing a lot more of the 4K 30 this gen. However,
4K60 from Microsoft.
Well, 4K 60 came within the past 2 years, but the first thing they were doing is they were
Halo 5, 4K 60. How old is Halo 5?
they updated that game, so don't even do that. They patched it.
No,
What I'm saying,
they did update it.
They did update it, but it's 4K 60.
Let Bloody finish.
what I'm trying to say is that yes, the goal overall at first was to push 4K. And then they were able to use their studio to say, hey, look, we right now with what we're capable of, we can push 4K 60. We saw that with Horizon. We saw that with the updates to Motorsport. We saw that with Gears 5. We saw the update to Halo 5. We've seen that they are pushing that. We're already seeing a lot of those backwards texture updates and upscaled resolutions and all those capabilities, even now on current gen hardware. We saw that with the update with the Juggernaut Edition to State of Decay. Too, right? But that's the thing, as we already know that is absolutely plausible. So why shouldn't that be the standard going forward? Not always 4K, but we know that 60 frames absolutely does amazing to help smooth out a lot of issues within gameplay. Because here's the thing. Well, some people may not know the eye naturally sees in 60 frames a second, and you can notice when things are slower. You can notice a lot of the small minor differences up to 30 where it becomes apparent for everyone to the naked eye. So why wouldn't we want something to seem natural and smooth movement that makes everything appear more clear? Because you start to notice the little skips as it slows down.
Can I say something, buddy?
Over 60 frames a second is a little bit excessive because of the fact that the eye can't focus past that part. That's fine. But guess what? If you're able to overput those frames, that helps to smooth out when any case of slowdown or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that going forward, 60 frames absolutely needs to be a standard and a big push. I get we can now push absolutely 4K everything, especially with now what DirectX 12 Ultimate is pushing. We're seeing what ray tracing is able to do, creating those ambient occlusions with the way that they're able to create dynamic lighting effects and reflections off water. They're able to make that more clear. We're already seeing those kinds of engines and possibilities in games like Sea of Thieves and others. But now with having the power of ray tracing and being built into the hardware, yes, we know those are going to absolutely be pushed forward. However, at the end of the day, frame rates do make a significant difference, and they do need to be a priority going into next gen. You're talking about consoles that have between 9 to 12 teraflops of processing power, high-end graphical power. Yes, they're not as some of them are comparable to modern current high-end PC cards. Some, all right.
Well,
but the fact is they still have
be real about
this.
I mean, how many people have a 2080 Ti though?
Again, they're comparable. I said comparable, not okay. that people have them. That's what I'm saying is that you have consoles that are being engineered with these aspects in line and optimizing. Remember, the thing about these consoles is they are well optimized for the architecture and the ecosystem that they are trying to focus. The thing about PC gaming, and we all talk about PC gaming, devs have to scale for every possible combination as much as they can. So they have to take the highest combination that they can and slowly whittle it down, going through different graphics cards and different CPUs. With a console, they only have to optimize for one aspect. Yes, I get it that when the Series X and the PS5 Pro come out, that they're still going to support the last gen consoles for at least another 2 years until we start to see more the Unreal 5 come out and really start pushing at the end of 2021 into 2022. And a lot of things where they stated after those 2 years, 3 years, whatever, that's when they're going to be completely leaving the old gen behind and absolutely pushing forward with nothing but exclusives to the next gen consoles. But if they're making for those next gen consoles, as we are all friends with devs, we should know that they should absolutely point for the highest output that they can with the highest hardware that they can, and then scale down. Because it's easier to scale back than it is to scale up. We talked about this when we look at the aspect of resolution. It's easy to take a native image and scale it down and to keep its clarity than to take a non-native image and try to upscale it to match something that it wasn't its original resolution. So why wouldn't we want to do that with everything that these consoles both being able and capable of going into the next gen? That's where I stand on it. The people who are trying to be all high and mighty about it, no. The people who are trying to be crazy about what was said, no. they were absolutely right in saying that 60 FPS should be the standard output. But at the same time, he did that Aaron Greenberg's clarification, while some people feel like he shouldn't have apologized, it's understandable why they said it, because of the fact that it does state true. They cannot dictate what third-party developers, especially third-party publishers, are doing with their dev teams. But the devs should absolutely try to push as far as they can. But here's the thing about Valhalla that everyone needs to take into account of, is that they stated that 30 FPS is what they are at least aiming for. So they already know that the bare minimum of what they're going to push with 4K on Valhalla is 30 frames a second. So that means there's room for them to aim for a higher frame rate. If they can push closer to 60, that's great. Hell, if they're even able to do 45 frames, that helps a lot more. But I understand why people are going to say that they need to do 30.
Not locked up?
No, hang on. If they can hit and they can achieve that, even better. Even if they're not able to hit 60 frames,
so
locked, if they can do 45,
not having so you prefer Bloody?
No, hang on. I'm saying
I gotta answer this question. I mean, because I mean, I gotta ask this question. So you prefer games not being locked at a certain frames per second for the main sake of it just bouncing around frames per second wise?
No, what I'm saying is that they should aim for 60 frames and make that lock. If they can't hit 60, then they should at least aim for 45. They need to push 60 locked being a standard with these. Now, I understand if they have to do unlocks because of the fact that there's other things that to take into account for. But if they're going to do unlocked, that's when we've seen that they stated that the Series X, at least, is capable of pushing 120 frames a second. And we can see that on some of those smaller games. But guess what? If they do that unlocked, that helps to take into the account of when you're pushing 120 frames, your eye's not going to be able to recognize those extra frames.
It's not about your eyes. It's about your controller connectivity and the feel of the game. When you hit 120, that's what it's about. You're wrong. It's not about your eyes. You kept saying that.
Okay, but Lemon, okay, hold on.
Because of the fact that when you look at that refresh rate and you're going above, and when you're going after that, the reason I take into the eyes is because that's what you're going to notice. That's what is going to trigger your senses. Yes, the controller is going to feel great and all that, but you have to take into the fact of how you can tell something is very clear in movement compared to something that's choppy. When you look at something that dips below 30 frames a second, you can recognize it because it becomes more apparent. It becomes stuttery because your eyes are able to notice it.
I get what you're saying. No, but when you start talking 120, it has nothing to do with eyes. It's all about control.
The control is
responsiveness. It has nothing to do with visual.
What do you mean?
You can't see the 120 frames.
How are you going to see the game if you can't see it?
You finish eating. And then you let Bloody finish what he's gonna say, and then you and PK, because I heard PK in the back. Y'all rebuttal. But remember that Slayer still is the last one on this topic to make this point, because we still have one more topic to talk about, which is Ghost of Tsushima, and then we'll be done for the night. But Bloody, please finish, because I'm intrigued by what you're saying, man. I am. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
What I get where Lemon is making his point. Yes, it comes down to the feel, but what I'm saying is that while the human eye can see up to a certain point when it comes to frames, we have these fast modern TVs, 4K TVs that you can get $200, $300 now, are able to do some of these high-end refresh rates, just like real high-end monitors and what people are playing on. The frame rates need to be able to match up to those to help be able to make use of those aspects. And the reason I keep bringing up eyes is that the responsive feel that you get when you're playing it is also because of what all of your senses are taking into it. Am I wrong? When you're looking at a game, when you're playing a game, you're doing what? You're looking at it. You're going to notice when things feel off, when it doesn't feel right, when it doesn't seem natural to you. Of course, we have the aspect of being able to say, oh, it's just a game. But when something doesn't look right, even when you play an older game, sometimes people say, man, this is hard to play or hard to see because of the fact that you're getting accustomed to something higher and something that's more natural.
Keep going, Bloody. Keep going.
So my biggest thing is that going in the next gen, that 60 frames should absolutely be a standard. We know that anything that a lot of devs are able and capable of hitting 4K. That is without a doubt. We've already seen that they're able to do that now, even being able to update textures and add new ambient lighting effects because of what they're doing. Now with the whole Unreal thing, you brought up a good point. Microsoft has absolutely been the champion for Unreal and that entire engine for a long time.
Yes.
What they've done with Unreal 4, with Gears and others, we know that they're absolutely going to want us to keep supporting it. Because guess what? Epic during that conference said everything made in Unreal 4 will be easily portable and be able to be brought over to Unreal 5 compared to what Unreal 3 did to Unreal 4. So guess whose majority of their games in their studios have been using Unreal 4 assets?
Gears, yeah. Well,
Gears and others. That's going to be able to be ported for
Gears, Scorn. I'll read a couple.
But not only just
Scorn, Bleeding Edge, Hellblade, Crackdown. You know what I'm saying? State of Decay, Outer Worlds. You know what I'm saying? I can keep going, but I won't go there. But that's enough right there, just to let you know. Yes.
Exactly, and we're gonna see when they take those assets and be able to port them to Unreal 5 and how they're gonna be able to improve that with everything that they were showing off in that demo and that tech demo. Because people forget that it's a tech demo; it's not a real game, but a tech demo is absolutely being pushed as far as they can to really show off what the engine is capable of. It's going to be a while before we see a lot of people being able to absolutely utilize the high-end aspects of that engine, but because of the fact that a tech demo is going to be absolutely show the best possibilities within that engine. And guess what? There are PlayStation exclusives that are going to take care of it, and we're going to see kind of what they did. Everyone talked about Final Fantasy VII, how good that looks. Well, we also know why there was a lot of development issues when the fact that Square took that game in-house from that third-party team. And what did they do when they switched from that third-party team? Instead of using the engine and what they did, they switched over to Unreal. So guess what? When the PS5 comes around, what if they bring forward Final Fantasy VII Remake now and make an update to it, as well as any future parts, we're going to see them pushing Unreal 5. But I do agree with everyone else that proprietary engines absolutely do make a difference. We saw what Decima engine was able to be pushed for with what we saw with Horizon Zero Dawn and how, whatever people say about it, what we saw in Death Stranding. The engine is capable. There's always going to be need of third-party engines, but when you're able to build upon your own proprietary engine and improve upon it, that's always going to be more advisable and going to be more desired from a internal house perspective. Like we said with EA, we're going to start seeing them hopefully started going back to the Frostbite engine. But the biggest thing with the Frostbite engine is what it was optimized for. It was optimized for first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. That's why there was a lot of issues adapting it to in other games that were not meant for that aspect. Just like we're going to have to see what Slipspace is capable of. Slipspace for Microsoft and what 343 made for Halo Infinite, beyond amazing, beyond beautiful. But let's see what that engine was being built from the ground up for besides just Halo, and see how they're able to make use of it. Because if they're able to push that, then guess what? They have their own built-in proprietary engine that becomes more desirable than using a third-party engine, but they're always going to want to have that third-party engine for other aspects. It's always going to be desirable, especially for indies.
Okay. All right. Listen, this is why I love the crew, because as much as there are people that from the outside, and I know, and Chris can probably attest to that. He might not admit it. From the people from the outside, they tend to think that Xbox prevalent podcasts always have to be the whole kumbaya, Xbox is love, everything that we say, pro Xbox, pro this, pro that. We have to stay on the same wavelength. And this is what I love. Bloody is completely different than probably everybody else on the panel. But I am not going to let anybody else shut him out from his point of view. Or from anybody else that has a different point of view that isn't what I agree with, or for what anybody else. Because there are plenty of people that believe what Bloody is saying. There's plenty of people that believe what everybody else on the panel is saying. and even with Op was kind of in the middle. So that's the thing I want people to really recognize is that look, nobody on my panel with GRG is sheep. I can't come to Lemon and say, bro, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say that, you're gonna say that. You know what Lemon's gonna tell me? Lemon, what you would tell me if I say you gonna tell me Lemon, what you gonna tell me if I tell you
Yo, we live. So
no, we live. What would you tell me if I say, Lemon, you're gonna say this on the show tonight?
Nope, I'm not doing it.
Okay, all right. So
I don't want to turn on the live wire and be cursing.
Okay, so let me go to Op. Let me go because I ain't going to live. Live might say some wild shit.
Whoa.
Give some narrative.
I don't even is live alive?
No, I'm saying
Oh.
Op. I'm saying no, I'm not going to live because live breaks scenarios and shit and be talking all types of shit. Talk about what?
Yeah, we already had to listen to Smash podcast for 20 minutes.
Anyway, so what? Bloody is making his point. Op. If I told you this is what we're going to talk about on GRG and you better do it, what would you tell me?
Well, you can catch me next week, then, nigga. That's what it's going to be.
Listen.
Made me spit up my dinner, man.
Hey, bro. Listen. People think that, you know what I'm saying? Listen. You better be checking. Y'all better be checking those PlayStation channels because they all sound the same. I listened to about 10, 12 of them through the week, and I'm trying to listen to they all cap the same shit. Nobody can get out the fray unless they got a so-and-so quote-unquote
a hive
Xbox
mind
guy.
at work.
A hive mind. They are bees, ants, anything that got a hive. They're cattle. They talk the same narrative over and over. Boring ass podcast. I want people to tell me, K-Mecca, you wrong. You a liar. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Can I say my point before you go to sick?
Well, live got something to say, and live about to go left.
No, I was just saying that the ponies really in their feelings about Tim Sweeney. They don't like this nigga.
Ooh, yes, they are. We about to get into that.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I got to give my boy Slayer the last of this last part talking about the 30 frames per second with Valhalla.
Oh Lord Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
it's been like an hour waiting.
Hey, I know. And when I come back, you're gonna be the second person I get to, but.
Yeah, brother, you in your feelings all the time, bro. We see you in the chat.
Listen. Let's get into it. We're almost done tonight, I know. But that's why when Lemon was talking about let's talk about these other subjects, I was like, no, because I know that we was gonna go in on this on these last couple of subjects about this. But Slayer. Okay, so give me a rebuttal about what Bloody was saying, what everybody else was saying.
I'm just gonna say it's just gonna have to be like that.
Well, no. Well, I do want to ask you this question too, though, because you are primarily more of a PC guy than you are anything else. So
that is not true. You need to get that straight first and
foremost. Well, I'm wrong. Okay, I'm sorry.
I do have a knowledge and enthusiasm for the PC, and I do want to, put some comments at another time.
He's a liar. He's like Neo in the Matrix. I know.
He's lying. I know. He's over here. You're fraud in the public right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The stuff that I see in the DMs, you over here bragging about your PC and everything else.
Stop lying to the
public. Get him, Lemon.
Don't be frauding. You probably got a chip in your brain somewhere.
Exactly. You probably got a 32. You probably got a 3200X AMD chip right now, Ryzen chip in your brain right now.
We don't fraud the We don't fraud the public.
No, don't fraud the public.
Are you already done had your little?
You like Max Headroom? Stop it.
Yeah, PC. PC.
All right, man. All right, you need to fall back on that. Like you had better jokes than that. That was not one of them.
Okay. So Slayer, what is your thoughts about this whole situation going on with Ubisoft? Like, is it necessary for them to go after like what my boy Cab was saying? What Cab 72 saying? That it's Xbox fault is it Xbox fault?
No, it ain't Xbox's fault.
Is it Ubisoft's fault? Is it?
It's more.
What's going on? Talk to me.
Even before I truly answer the question, let me just say that probably right into because I don't have too much to say going last. A lot of people already said a lot of things that I probably would have said on the subject had I went earlier. So my comments be pretty
This
short.
demo looks dope. I cannot wait to see
that out.
these
Just
graphics on that Series X. Oh, Jesus. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Man, I'm loving
it. It does. I get
Yeah, only the host could do those type of interruptions.
No, thank you. Shut y'all's asses up. The host.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
go ahead.
Dude, talk. Can I talk? Who wants to get this off my
I don't
chest?
know. Hurry up. Go ahead, PC guy. We don't want to hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, simply, as soon as I say what I gotta say, it's gonna transition right into this Ubisoft. Not this Ubisoft thing, this Unreal Engine thing, because they just related what I got to say, right? But I'm gonna put it to you like this: to answer the question that you was asking everyone else, about 60 frames versus 30 frames or whatever, right? Now, okay, to answer that, it doesn't matter how powerful your GPU and CPU and your hardware in general is. Whatever you could do with 60, if you cut it down to 30, now have more horsepower to implement into AI and whatever the hell else, okay? You can make that's not open world. Now it can be an open world game. It doesn't matter the resolution you're talking about. It doesn't matter the GPU, CPU, it don't matter what. Because I could take Street Fighter 4, right, on the 360 and make the graphics right down to Nintendo level. Now you got 1,000 frames per second to work with if you really want. Understand what I'm saying? So if Ubisoft chooses to go 4K 30, that's on them. That's their game, right? They got to have this on multiple platforms, maybe even the Assassin's Creed games, like recent ones, like off bat with everybody.
No.
It's a little bit later. Okay.
No, they don't got no Origins or Odyssey. Can't be done.
All right. Yeah, I agree. But then Witcher is there. So
they tried to do The Witcher. It looks like a PS1 game.
Yeah, but yeah. But either way, I think I made my point clear. It doesn't matter about the Xbox Series X or the Xbox Triple X. Okay, in the future, that's 3 times as powerful. It doesn't matter because all you gotta do is cut that frame rate in half. Now you got GPU and CPU left over to do whatever else that you want to do. Okay, it's that black and white. So all this talk about 4K and 60, yeah, you want to push for 60, but not every game needs that, like Lemon said. Just depends on the game and the experience you're trying to give.
Facts.
There was a lot of expectations for 60, right? Now they put the onus on Xbox, but that same expectation is on PlayStation. That same expectation is on Nintendo, who, they just released the wonderful 101 remaster, and it's performing worse than it did on the Wii U, by the way.
You said third party. Let's keep it real, because Nintendo games run at 60.
Yeah, but you pay.
Get him, PK, because that's our Nintendo enthusiast.
That's a third party game.
Third party, but yes, but PK
that's
is
a
right.
third party game.
Get him, PK.
And I knew that was gonna happen, but that's a third party game.
PK ain't gonna let that happen. You ain't gonna talk about Nintendo like that, sucker. Go ahead.
I'm with PK on that one because that's one of my favorite games.
PK ain't gonna allow you to talk bad about Nintendo. That's how Nintendo enthusiasts on the panel.
Got their opinion, and I'm just saying.
Nah, you got
run
that's
worse
cool,
than
though.
it did on the Wii U, on the previous gen system. That's not a good look. But I don't even think that's a fault of the hardware. That's really a part.
No, Platinum sucks at doing HD remixes because they messed up. They don't
suck. They just don't give. They don't give a.
They don't care. Right. Because what's the name?
To do other stuff.
Vanquish and the other one is horrible.
That's right. So
my God.
So
it got me.
Yeah, the old school PC, the PC version is way better.
Oh, destroying it.
Wow, PK, I'm getting the worst you ever do.
Hey, man, when you rumbling? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get these treatments until you can break it down. Come on.
So anyway. No.
We do a slick bag. Go ahead, brother.
Tonight, but either way, I already made my point about the 30 and the 60. It doesn't matter what hardware you have. You drop it down to 30, now you got more to work with to do other
things.
Make it an open world game.
That's exactly what I said. When you do 60, you got to double. You got to double
that
work.
Let's slick talk, man. Come on, man. I'm gonna go to you first on the next topic. Come on, man. And I hope everybody interrupts you when you talk. I'm gonna interrupt. If nobody don't talk, if ain't nobody interrupting you when you talk, I'm gonna do it because you done to everybody else tonight. I'm trying to defend the
Interrupted
panel.
and go on an Obama speech in the middle.
My speech was real. Okay, anyway, go Slayer, go Slayer.
By the way, that's the point.
I'm muting my mic.
Yo, that's the point I want to make about all this talk about, the 30 and the 60 and all that. It doesn't matter because all you got to do is cut it in half. Now you got more to work with to do other things. It's that simple. So all these people who's hoping for 60 to be there all the time, that kills that narrative and that expectation right there. Now, Microsoft seems to be planning for all their first-party titles to be 60 frames. I don't know if they ever officially said that, but that's how it's looking, right?
No, they said that.
Oh, they've said it. Okay, well, there you go. But you could do that. That's their games they paying their money for, and they'll do how they choose. Just like Ubisoft will as well. It's that simple. That's the answer to your question right there. Now, you want to transfer over into this Unreal Engine thing? Because that's pretty simple, too.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, I was looking to answer. I mean, everybody else has been transitioning.
No, I really wanted to. I want to answer something you asked Bloody.
Okay. Well, hold on. Wait.
Yo, 20 seconds. It's not even long.
Okay,
it's just a comment.
Go ahead. What was it that I asked Bloody?
You asked what you think the PlayStation people going to push for next generation, right?
Yes.
But they don't have no experience with 4K 30 first party this generation. So
wait a minute, Lemon. Stop that. Don't do that yet. We gonna hit them with that Ghost of Tsushima. We're gonna hit him with the Ghost of Tsushima. That's when we gonna hit him. Don't hit him now. Don't hit him now. That's when you save it. This is the softball to get us out of here for the night. And so when I get those messages, hey nigga, you a fraud. I hope your fat ass die. That's what I want to hear. Because tonight we gonna let them have it for that trash that they've been talking about.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So Slayer. Okay, so. Please forgive Lemon for his rude interruption.
But it's the facts. It ain't no lie.
Please.
His
No. Hey, Zink, we gonna let Lemon go on the last topic when we get out of here for the night. Go ahead, Zink. Finish this whole Valhalla situation, because let's go.
I'm done with that.
Okay, we're done with it. All right, let's go. All right, last topic. Here we go. Oh my God, PK Live is like, fuck it. If I can't say what I want to say, I'm gonna hit you up.
It's a Bible page.
I'm gonna read this paragraph of scripture. Here we go. PK Live said, game title only docked, only portable, both arms, no, yes, Azure, Striker, Gunvolt, Striker, Pack, no, yes, Battle Chief, Brigade,
Basically, it's just a list of all games that run at 60 on Switch.
Bro, thank you, because I was gonna keep going until you interrupted me. Help me.
So yeah, that is basically an idea that pretty much every game runs at 60 on Switch, except for a few titles, especially their first party titles, except for Pokemon 2019.
All right, cool. So, all right, I'm glad you guys are laughing, because we like to have a lot of fun here. I mean, we do take this shit seriously, but we don't take it as seriously as some, and we're all family here. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, we can't hate each other because we all support one another, man. I mean, it's just not that. So
yeah, don't think because I'm yelling at Bloody I don't support him, but he's still wrong with the 120 frames.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And even though Bloody is like, look, he's over here. Bloody
wrong as hell.
Bloody say he loves you, but he got a voodoo doll. He got a voodoo doll of your bunion in his mouth, and he's gonna put pins in that shit.
It's gonna be stabbing at some bitch right now.
He's gonna be like, Lord, my toe.
Well, if you're gonna play with the doll, you make sure you put the bunion off.
No. Nigga, you could be in a party chat with him at 2:30 in the morning. You can see him think, oh, what the.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm gonna go to your channel and I'm gonna see if you poking pins in anything with the Satan rings. I'll be like, you know what? I ain't fucking with Bloody. When Bloody hits me up,
you ain't no good, Jesse.
Hey, he showed a picture of a tongue. Hey, this is why I love Dixon, right?
I'm doing Jazzy.
Hey, Jazz is the best. Hey, check this out, right?
Oh my God.
So when Bloody hits me up and say, Mega, I got an idea for something, you know what I'm saying? And I see on his stream that he's got needles into a big ass bunion. I'm gonna be saying, Bloody, what do you want to do?
Oh,
He says, Mega, I
man.
want your opinion. Fuck that, Bloody. Tell me what you want to do. I'm gonna be on my Tevin
Bloody
Campbell.
with
Tell
with
me what
with
you
his
What
want
game
to
is on
colors.
the screen?
do.
Someone asked.
Yes.
Oh.
What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say?
Someone
What
asked,
game?
what game is this on the screen?
This isn't a game. This is
That's a
Unreal
demo.
Engine 4. This is a demo
Mhm.
from Unreal Engine 4. This is what I wanted to show, and I'm glad that people are paying attention to this because everybody's over here trying to use the demo to Unreal Engine 5 and say, oh, man, amazing. You know what? Clickbait is bullshit because this right here kills anything that you've seen in that demo from Unreal Engine 5 playing on the PlayStation 5.
Hey,
Real
Mega,
talk.
I don't know if you saw what I said about Lemon, but he said that toe is sharp like a jack. Not gonna kill toe with that shit.
Hey, you know what? Lemon had socks on the whole time that I seen him, so him and 100.
Yeah, he
You know
knew
what
to
I'm saying?
hide that stuff. Let me
He
tell you.
hit
Yo,
it, but you might be
First
right.
of all, I ain't got no goddamn bunions. That,
Got a bunch, big ass,
but you
big
know
ass,
what? I'm gonna
fat
let Bloody
ass
roll with his
bunions.
joke. Shut the hell up, sick.
Big
You got
ass,
feet like
big
I
ass,
need
fat ass
orgasm.
bunions. It's a
Big
bunny. It's a bunny. Man, that bunny's the size of his damn head, and Lemon got a big ass head. Even
Yes.
though he right now, my boy, he started to do videos now. He look like he's on Sherm because
I
he lost so
see
much
how
weight.
we doing this
But that,
tonight.
hey, my boy been on Sherm. He lost a lot of weight. Hey, man, look, I'm the only fat one left. That's cool. I'll be cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But
you
that's
need
all
to
right.
get that diet.
Oh
I
man.
got to get on a diet now. I was like, man, Lemon ain't as big as me, but
Oh,
yeah,
you even got your man in the chat getting on me. No matter how
Man,
big my
you know
bunion
what?
get, I'll still
Look
put my
at that.
foot
Look
in
at
your
that.
ass.
Look. You know what? Lemon's toe always shook like that, Don. Hey, Don, his toe shook like that. It really did. Now I don't
Oh
even.
man.
It's lifeless. Anyway, okay, let's get down to the. All right, let's get to the last topic. Let's get the hell out of here. All right, so.
Yo, Jazzy, I got you at E3 next year. You sucker.
Anyway.
You
Oh
got
man,
me.
this is why I love the fam, man. We like to have fun.
Oh
All this here,
man.
I'm sure on other podcasts, even the podcast before ours, there was a lot of yelling, cussing, fussing.
Yeah, the chat is always live.
PlayStation sucks. Xbox sucks.
We only get that from like one person, so
It's
we good.
garbage. It's garbage. Let's just talk about some shit,
It's
get
bad.
into it, and let people make their opinions on it. All right, so last topic of the night. The demo from Sony on State of Play. I've seen a lot of people coming out and saying, pointing out, hey, Microsoft, this is how you show gameplay. And I'm going to go to Slayer first and get his point of view on the demo and that point of view and ask him, do you think that the people that were saying that were they right? That maybe that Inside Xbox has a problem of presenting their games in a better light than what PlayStation did with the demo and with Ghost of Tsushima. Let me know everything what you thought about not only the demo but what I also asked you as well.
I have a phrase I've been using for a little while now. Perception is a motherfucker. It's not about what the facts are for some people. It's about how they perceive the facts. You know, when I was watching this Unreal Engine demo, I'm like, yo, Unreal Engine. Every new generation, we got one. Okay, it's got some ray tracing technology they got now that looks pretty good. And I'm not trying to knock it by saying that, but that seems to be what it is. Fake ray tracing that seems to work very well. And they got this new thing that's like tessellation, but not exactly. So you get the level of detail and all that stuff. That's dope. But that's Unreal Engine. Every generation has a new one, and it's the benchmark that most third parties will use if they're not using their own engine, which is something I was trying to say before. Some developers, publishers, try to work on a in-house engine. That's always best, obviously, but sometimes you can't do that for various reasons. Square and Konami both had issues with their engines. Konami is just stupid, so we know how that ended.
Yeah.
had issues, and they're working on it. But apparently, according to PK, which I didn't know until he said that they're working on it and they haven't abandoned it. Had one game to go with it, an RPG deep dive or something like that. They abandoned the game and the engine.
Well, they still use the Fox engine, but it's what they use for PES now.
Oh yeah. That's Konami. They use that on their football game. So
yeah. I was like, so they still use the Fox engine. It's just not.
Yeah, but it's not
what it's capable of.
It's not being further developed like it should have, but with the whole drama. So there's that. But Square apparently had their issues. But I already said that. Now Capcom, they dropped that engine and the game they had. Deep Down, I think it was, or some RPG, whatever. It happens sometimes, But the Unreal Engine is the Unreal Engine. We know that's going to be the dope engine. If you don't have your own, you go to that. Nowadays, we have Unity 2 for the indies, but Unreal Engine, all right?
You've definitely proven that it's very comparable, especially with what they use now.
Right, because I was saying, because earlier on, it used to be a bit of an issue. It got better. I mean, it's still not at the level of Unreal Engine, but a lot closer than it used to be. Although the Unreal Engine just, up.
But I mean, you also got to think about how much money that Unreal has funded from Epic compared to Unity. So an indie engine like Unity being fairly not perfect, equal to, but comparable, especially for an indie to be able to do that high quality, that's impressive.
Right. There's only one thing wrong with Unity. It's not well optimized.
Right. It's not well optimized.
It has a lot of technical issues, but I'm going to show y'all something later that somebody sent me from 2019, the current version.
Yeah.
It's a new engine for next generation.
Proving it, so
I have a video of it.
It's not out the game yet, and they haven't shown the new version for this generation, so we don't know.
I told you I got it.
All right, I'm just saying for this year though. That's 2019 you're talking about, but I'm sure it's dope either way. So but the Unreal Engine, like we look at this engine, we see all these dope things. The graphics is beautiful. What's his name? Apparently has Sony's thumb up his ass because he keeps trying to say all this stuff. Even Jeff Keighley had to ask dude questions. What's his name?
Tim Sweeney.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney, that little bastard. If you're a PC gamer like me, and then you know about this EA, the Epic Store thing, you're not too big of a fan of this dude and some of the things he's doing, although that's a little 50-50 thing in the PC community. But either way, this dude was only talking about the PlayStation and Sony. Jeff Keighley tried over and over and over, but apparently there's a contract or a deal or whatever between Epic and Sony. So all he was talking about was Sony, and how this works with the PS5. But it's the Unreal Engine. It's the brand name in third-party engines. If you don't have your own engine, you're going to use the Unreal Engine if you're not using Unity to make your dope game. Gears.
Frostbite is not outsourced. It's not outsourced. Frostbite.
It's not outsourced. So if you don't have your own engine to use, if it's not Unity, it's Unreal. And every generation they come out with a new one with new stuff. So, I saw this tech demo. It's a tech demo like I expected I would have seen at GDC or not at GDC, at the Sony press conference when they showed off the PS5's tech specs. I expected to see a tech demo like that to show off the hardware, because that's usually what happened. Didn't happen, right? Looked dope, all good. Now people are talking about, this is what Xbox should have did. Gameplay. It's not a game.
It's not a game.
It's a game. What the hell are you talking about? It's a tech demo of the Unreal Engine, of all the engines you can name. How are you going to cop a PlayStation for that? It's going to be on everything except the Switch. It's not a dig. I'm just saying in terms of facts. Okay, PK. So don't get mad at me, please. Just saying. That's what it is. All this talk, and then come to find out, which makes a lot more sense when you hear the detail. 1440p at 60 frames a second.
30.
About this hardware.
30
frames.
Oh my God. Okay, that's the whole time I'm thinking in my mind 60 when it really was 30. That makes my point all the more salient. Okay, we know the hardware difference between the PS5 and the Xbox. Okay, if the best they could do was 1440p and 30 frames a second, then I'll come to find out the 2070 Super hardware that's out now. Okay. Can outperform that. Listen, it's a lot deeper, but I ain't got to say nothing else. All the facts I need to say, I've said.
Boy, he gonna be hated on Twitter now.
These clowns don't play the games that they cap for and talk all this crap about, but don't own them, play them, and in our chats every week talking shit. Yeah, I see you, all caps, all day, like a child. We see you. You're a clown to all of us. So whatever.
Damn.
Right? And I ain't gotta say no more than that. That's how simple it is, black and white. Okay, Mega, you probably muted your mic, bro.
All I know is I came in here and he called me a child. What the hell?
Don.
Not you.
It's the Don, the fraud.
Okay. Oh, no, come on, Don. Why do you always do this? Why do you always come in here?
Come in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Come in the last 5 minutes to make sure y'all do the Devin the Gamer.
Yeah, you want to do the Devin the Gamer?
Don is going to get ignored.
He's not. We playing Halo.
We're done. We're Don is going to get ignored. Anyway,
Wait, did we
so
talk about Sweeney?
yeah. Okay, so Livewire, go ahead and finish what you were going to say. I mean, go ahead and I'm going to give that to you. What did you think about the
potato salad?
What'd you say? Yeah, I know.
You better ask K Mega for that recipe. I don't know how to make that stuff.
You know how to make potato salad. You the king of
No, we don't. No, we don't. I ain't gonna say why he don't.
Don
no,
is the king of potato salad and is the king of salad dressing.
He's the barbecue pitmaster, the junior version.
Ooh.
Man,
He's the junior version until proven otherwise.
Man, I got kicked out of suburbia for not making potato salad. I've been banned.
No,
You're not making potato salad next year. E3. I'll kill myself
hold
first.
on. I have video clip evidence of this man talking about. Are you interested in potato salad? This man is a fraud. He is all about potato salad. Anyway,
hey, that's a universal greeting. That's how you make friends on Sea of
Thieves. Look, I cannot go to any homies in the hood and ask them, do they want potato salad? I might get shot. I cannot fuck around with potato salad.
Don't be bringing that white shit.
Yeah, don't be bringing it around here.
Okay, man, if you get all in there all trending
next
like
podcast
that, yeah,
might be potato salad friendly, but not GRG. We can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe greens. Maybe
I don't know why.
Some...
I don't know why you keep bringing up potato salad every time I'm around you, man.
Oh my god.
K-Mega, we're not South not potato salad friendly, but we're steak and egg friendly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We like meat on our bones. We like everything with meat on their bones. So I don't
know. Don puts raisins in it.
Yeah.
Yo, let Livewire finish, man. We're already at goddamn 11:20 your time.
Listen, I know. What time is it? Oh shit! See, we about to hit the 3 hour mark. We about to hit the 3 hour mark. All right, Live. Go ahead and say what you got to say, man. Let's go.
Okay. Tim Sweeney. What did he say this maybe 5 hours ago?
Yeah.
He's not too ponies aren't too happy. Well,
no.
The Unreal Engine 5 demo on PlayStation was a culmination of years of discussion between Sony and Epic on future graphics and storage architecture. The Nanite and Luma Tech power, it will be fully supported on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and will be.
Did you hear that, Christopher Dummy?
Yep.
The liar.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And why
He's in here lying. I called him a liar about 40 minutes ago. I said the dude did not say that. Did you hear that, Christopher Dummy?
Man, all that guy's got is your keyboard, man. Leave him alone.
In here lying.
All he has is
What you got, kids? What you tell your kids you're important? You still lying.
Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and let me just do this. Let's do a quick round, and I'm pretty sure everybody will give their
goddamn liar
give their points on this. But the whole Ghost of Tsushima, because I really haven't heard anybody talk about Ghost of Tsushima itself.
Butchered that name. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, what did you think, Livewire? What did you think about the state of play demo?
I thought the presentation was good. There was nothing really wrong with anything that me personally, I'm starting to fatigue, so I wasn't really all that enthused about what I was seeing because it just like I was watching Assassin's Creed in Japan. But
Oh,
that's just because I'm like I said, I'm literally playing Assassin's Creed Unity right now, so I'm just going at this point. It's just like if you're not showing me anything I haven't seen before, I'm not that impressed with it. My only big issue was the texture; they were kind of low.
Yes.
But that, I mean, other than that,
oh,
like
don't
the
say
gameplay
that
was.
because I seen people over here capping.
No,
That's
I mean,
that's the
get
new
don't.
word right now. I'm just going around. Is this word capping? I mean, I know it's been out for a while, but
Oh no, what?
they've been addressing the point of saying, look, why is it that every time that when they talk about PlayStation games having a downgrade, they were wrong?
I don't think it had a downgrade. At
Okay,
first I thought it
okay,
did,
okay,
but
okay.
I went back to look at it. The
Hmm.
reason why you never noticed it is because they didn't really show it. They always showed
Great point.
like specific angles. There was a lot of shadows, very dark when you first saw the Ghost of Tsushima. Now that you see it like in the daytime, that's when you can really see like how these textures ain't, and especially after looking at the the engine demo, it looks noticeably like different, you
Yeah,
know.
the combat.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the combat is samurai, so it's slow. I mean, I expected it to be like Tsushima type stuff. But with the when he's a ninja, it's like Assassin's Creed. Only or like Assassin's Creed mixed with was it Sekiro?
Yeah.
No,
So
what's mixed with nothing with Sekiro. Sekiro's an action game.
I more
I'm
said Tenchu, but
Tenchu.
yeah.
That's right.
all right, Tenchu.
Quick question: what game is this?
Nah,
playing
I
in the
wasn't talking
background?
about the fight.
Ghost of
Oh
Tsushima.
no. He's talking about the
The
game that's
movement.
being shown right
Yeah, I was
here.
talking about the movement. I wasn't talking about the
It's
fighting.
Oh, okay.
Ninja Gaiden Kaiba.
Yeah, because
Kaiba, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it kind
That
of
was on 360.
Yeah. It's on
Yeah.
PC too.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the game looks. I don't know. I wasn't personally that enthused about it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm. You know what it is? I would have much rather had a game that was just let's cut out running around the world type shit and just like make it a little bit more linear. I'm not saying like not have any open. I'm just saying like I just don't feel like riding a horse for like 70 hours. You feel me? Like I'd rather like condense it and just be like, all right, tell me this story. Give me 2 hours. I don't really need to go talk to little kids and find the kites and trees. Ninja. Like I don't want to do that shit. I mean, you over here talking and shit. That's basically I don't want to do that shit. I just rather just have like a strict samurai story minus the little like you know bullshit side missions. At least I mean, because they're not gonna be like The Witcher. Like in The Witcher, you don't to a house. Like I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be like Assassin's Creed, bro. I mean, maybe it'll be better than that, maybe, but as of right now, it looks like it's gonna be Assassin's Creed with ninjas. Now, the thing that keeps it is the gameplay. If the gameplay is dope and it's something that you're like, yo, I like it. It's crunchy. You know what I mean? I like it how visceral it is. Maybe that'll keep you in it. But if it doesn't feel that way, because looking and the way it looks and the way it feels is very different.
Right.
Like something could look great, but when you play it, you be like, oh, this doesn't feel the way it looks. Some games give you an adrenaline. You play them, other ones make you go to sleep. I don't know which one this is, so I won't know until it drops. I mean, because is it going to be more like The Last of Us or like Death Stranding? I have no idea.
I think I look at it more like a Days Gone.
Oh no!
In my opinion.
No,
Well,
Jesus.
no, I think
No. It's
not,
gonna be
not,
like The Last
not,
of Us.
not broken, not broken.
No. It's gonna be like The Last of Us.
And it was
Pace wise, it's gonna be like the last. It's gonna be like The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Pace wise.
pace wise. You're
That's why PlayStation dudes don't like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not a. It's not
Oh
a ton of action.
no! Don't just say
It's
that,
very
Lemon.
paced.
Don't call them out.
I bought
Lemon.
it day one. I bought the special edition statues and anything. I'm gonna say the truth, but I'm gonna wait till my turn.
Okay. Finish up live so we can go to the next person.
Oh, no, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, what is? No. I'm gonna let Op go last tonight to sign us off. Bloody, what is your thoughts, man? What's
All right, let me go to California and come back.
Okay.
I'm a walk, and I'm walking.
Hey, man,
Can you bring me some In and Out when you're there?
Good luck getting through New York right now, bro.
I know. Anyway,
Yeah, definitely
stop
some
it.
In and Out.
Let
Yo,
my
get
boy,
what-
hey
get
man,
what-
let my boy. Damn, why y'all disrespect Bloody like that? Bloody is a
Because
man.
ain't nobody gonna talk for the next 40 minutes.
Hey man,
we
if
gotta
that's
eat.
the case, if that's the
We
case,
gotta eat.
man. Well, Lemon already ate. Fuck it, like get something.
I had to
Look,
eat.
if
Bloody
that's
was
the case,
talking forever. My food was getting cold.
Don't
We already
matter.
heard you start eating before I even started talking because you're coming out your mouth.
Bloody.
Nah.
Listen. Y'all gotta understand. Bloody holds this show together. The rest of y'all don't get that right. All right, so go ahead, Bloody.
Now
Go
I
ahead,
know we're gonna get taken off the air.
Bloody. Man, shut the hell up, guys. Let Bloody talk, man. Y'all disrespectful. Bloody, I'm sorry, man. I got your back, man. You know what? Give me a Satan ring. I'm finna zap some of these bastards. Anyway, what do you think about the Ghost of Tsushima trailer? Or I'm sorry, not trailer, gameplay demo, and just everything else that everybody else is kind of bringing up about this. I've even heard people even say like, why? I know that because it's a PlayStation 4 game and that they've talked about it for the last 3 years. But why could they not show this game on the PlayStation 5? Give me a little bit of everything. What you think about this?
Well, from what I saw from the gameplay is definitely nothing nothing that we haven't seen before. But I do still like the
Bloody,
style
come
of
on
it.
now.
I
You
think-
got to give me, but you got to give me more than that, man. Because you're the last hope. You're the last Sebastian of hope of talking
No, but
really
here-
great about this game. Come on, Bloody.
No,
You
but
got to give me
here's
more
the-
than that.
what I like. The thing is that it does a lot of things that others have already done before, but I think what makes it very unique is that it does very heavily fall into that samurai style. And by that, I mean, if you think about the combat, it very falls into the aspect of as a samurai, when you're fighting all these dudes, it's about being very smart about the fights that you're doing, the movements, and how one quick strike is enough to kill him. Man, it gives me very much that feel of a classic samurai style movie, with the fact of you can see a man
Bushido Blade. If you ever played Bushido Blade 1 or 2,
Oh yeah.
Blade and the whole vibe of Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, you definitely feel that.
Yeah,
I didn't ask you about that other shit. I said Bushido Blade.
But it was very interesting. And I like the way I like the way they focus on the samurai aspect of Din when you had an aspect of being able to do that very upfront Bushido style of taking one-on-one and just how that combat worked. And then I like the way that they transition to it. If you step away from the style of the samurai, you follow the ways of the ghost. Or really, it started showing the path of the Ronin. You know, a rogue samurai really starting to go towards the way of what some would see as the way of the ninja, the way of the assassin. And I like the way that it played all together with the very aspects of the paranoia concept. You can complete scare your enemies by doing what you do.
Ooh, your mic is
Very
pretty bad.
aggressive and just kind of be. Yeah.
I thought it was me. Nobody was being like,
No, I was always trying to think that was
it's
gonna
because-
smooth out. Go ahead, Bloody.
Okay, yeah, sorry. There's a storm that's fucking up all the shit right now.
Oh yeah. We had a storm. Yeah, it must have moved down your area. Okay, yeah, because we had it. It just left us.
I was really looking for the way. I was really looking very interested in the way that those little aspects of the gameplay played out. I was like, I think that it's very cool that they have it HUD-less, that there is no or a lot of the HUD aspects is kind of minimalistic. That I know there's people who said that there's going to be no waypoints. You still have a map, but there's not going to be a lot of things on the screen, which kind of helps to give it a little bit more immersiveness with the way that you can take into the scenery. I like the collectibles because of the fact that a lot of those collectibles, while everyone always says that they're busy at work, I like the way that it ties into the culture. While you see the Shiratori gates, which are very big spiritual Japanese gates, following the fox and how they lead you to shrines, because foxes are seen as very godly creatures and the children of gods and things like that. I like those little aspects that really sell into the lore and feel of the world, and the way that they talked about Jin as a character. It really is following the downfall of a man who is a proud samurai, really falling into the way of the Ronin and becoming a full ninja assassin. And I like that aspect of the game. I really do, especially when you think of the time period with it during the Mongol invasions of China and Japan. I'm really interested to see how the story plays out. They're still keeping the story aspect relatively close to the chest, but what they did with the gameplay, while it definitely wasn't anything that hasn't been done before, it still feels very unique to what it is. And I have a lot of confidence in Sucker Punch because they kept their combat fun with a lot of the other games that they've done from the Sly Cooper series, from the Infamous games, that it doesn't always need to be super bombastic, but when it works really well, it is. Like, the only ones that are bombastic are Infamous, because you got to think you have superpowers. This one, they're keeping the fights very stylized, because as you saw when he even killed the dude with blade, he was able to throw off the blood. I think that's cool. It's the little things that make the game really interesting.
No, and I agree with you on that a lot. Most of the stuff that you said, I agree 100%. We'll listen to what the rest of these clowns have to say, other than PK, because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't trust Don, I can't trust Slick, and I can't trust Live. The only
Why
person
is that? Why is that? Not just me. You said a lot of us. I don't even get the bad.
I like how like K-May was going, like, who's gonna react first? He just keeps on
right.
going.
I was just waiting for a reaction
The
anyway,
trap.
dog.
It's a trap. It's a build-up, man. I know how that works.
Yeah, that's how it is. Anyway, no, I'm just playing. But anyway, let me go to PK on this one. Bro, what is your thoughts about what you've seen with Ghost of Tsushima, good or bad? Anything else that you wanted to kind of include into that with the mix of with the PlayStation 5, everything else? Because I know that there was still some things that everybody didn't include what they wanted to with the demo, all that stuff. Just go ahead and give it to us into one big package, so we can go ahead and sign you off, and then we'll just move on with everybody else before we get out of here tonight.
You might not like this, K-Megan, but I'm gonna be
No,
honest with you.
listen. I don't. Your opinion is yours. I appreciate everybody's opinion, right? If I agree with it or not. That's why I love this panel.
I'm gonna just say, I'm not interested in the game.
Oh no! You know what? You're out of here. This is your last day too. You and Slick, we're going back to the original members.
You just contradicted yourself.
I'm just playing. I don't care. Go ahead, bro. I just wanted to say that just to be an ass. Anyway, go ahead, please.
It's just not my kind of game. It's just not my kind of game.
Why would it not be your type of game? Explain. To me, this is the game that would scream you. Why not?
No,
what's the problem?
Not at all. I didn't. Okay. I wasn't. What was the game that came out last year?
Days Gone.
No. The other samurai game.
Sekiro.
I didn't like that either.
Sekiro? Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
It's just not my kind. It's just not for me. I don't dream about running around being a samurai. That's just not me. I don't.
My boy running around want to be a Pokemon master. That's what my boy wants to be.
I mean, I'm just saying that it doesn't call out to me to say I'm interested in playing that kind of game. I don't typically play a lot of slow kind of games.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Yakuza is kind of slow, but the narrative is so good. I couldn't help. I got addicted to it. It's almost like watching a movie. Almost like playing a movie, but I could not get into Sekiro. It just wasn't me. It didn't feel right. I'm more into faster paced games.
More fast paced. All right.
Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, those kind of things. Yeah. But I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying, for me, I wasn't interested. So
don't give an explanation. Keep it real.
I
like that.
think overall
Say
the game does look great.
Okay.
The
you don't
visuals
see any
look good.
downgrade or anything like some people are saying?
It's hard for me to say that because I didn't really pay it much attention in the beginning. So from what I've seen, it looks good. And I think I just hope that Sony makes this game backwards compatible, because it would be kind of sad to resell this again on PS5 as a remaster, quote unquote, to double dip on people.
Can we cut this man's mic from the disrespect on Sekiro?
Hell
Thank
no!
you.
This
Hell
man
no,
got
increase the
man.
volume on
We
this
listened to
man.
you
It's
talk
not
for
disrespect. I never
15
said the game
minutes.
was
This whole
bad. I
panel
just
The man
was
did
apologies. My
disrespect
last
the
tweet. No one
game,
can be
bloody.
Sekiro. Get out of here.
I
The
never
man,
said that the
listen,
game
he
was
did this.
bad.
He said
I
it
just
wasn't
said
his type of game. How you gonna?
I just
listen,
don't like it.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
not
you.
for me.
Anything Japanese somebody don't like, she gonna get her panties all in a
Listen,
bunch.
hold on, and you
Oh,
can't
let's
say that
break
this
it
man
down.
is and you can't say that this man is a Japanese game hater, because he is Nintendo first fan.
I
So
like how when I make a joke, everyone takes it seriously, but when everyone else makes a joke,
I
that's
mean, I do like
You got on Japanese
I
shut
panties?
the
like
hell up, bloody.
JRPGs. I
you
Shut
just
the hell up.
You know what? Tomorrow last week.
You got on sumo panties? You got on sumo panties.
One, if you know what it's called a fundashi.
Take your Satan rings and get on
I
down
know
here.
you know what they're called.
If you make a voodoo doll of me, you only stay like 4 hours away from me. I'll find your little ass.
You have a fundashi is greatly respected, sir.
So my
Fundashi.
opinion,
Go ahead, PK. Go ahead,
I'm just
PK.
gonna say the game looks good, and I think it will be a good game. I just particularly don't think it will fit well with me. It doesn't mesh well with me. It's not attractive to me. Overall, I think they did a good they did a good gameplay showing, and it in my mind, it was, if Microsoft comes out with their first party titles and do this same type of showing, then a lot of people will be excited for the new games coming. So yes.
But didn't they do this same type of show when they first originally started doing Inside Xbox almost a year ago?
I'm talking about next month when they do their first party showings. I hope that they blow the lids off, because let's just be real. Sony shows Spider-Man, God of War, and whatever the third game is, almost 4 years in a row, same trailers, and everybody's excited every year for the same games that they showed until they
But every time they show Halo again, people are just like, "Oh my God, Halo again!" Happens all the time.
I'm not saying that there's not. I mean, I'm not saying there's just not going to be people like that. But if they show this game and it literally is as stunning as they're claiming it to be, it's going to be a bigger deal, and I believe it will be, because they put a lot of work into it. But that's all I have to say about that guy.
All right. Cool. No, I definitely respect what you have to say. I will give my last thoughts at the end, when everybody else has said what they had to say. Slayer, what is it that you thought? Do you have a rebuttal for my boy PK?
So 2 things. Actually, 3. Number 1, I don't have a rebuttal for PK. Number 2, you can copy and paste everything that PK said and put me down for order that too.
Oh no.
Number 3.
Nice. He said order that with PK. They sit at the same table eating that same menu. Off the same menu. I like that.
Sounds like they're eating potato salad to me.
Hey man, as long as it don't have raisins in it, I'm good.
Hey, a little brown sugar in there for you.
But anyway, on the third thing, and I must defend PK because he wasn't trying to crap on the game. He's just saying it's not for him. It's like it's not for me. And Bloody has mentioned a lot of great things about the game, little details and stuff that I too noticed. And as a gamer, I play games. I read about games, I watch games, I research games, I buy games. I work extra hard at the job, okay, to afford these games and these displays and whatever I need to play these games. I'm on a podcast right now talking about games, okay? Love games. Doesn't mean I have to love or like every game. Even if it's a objectively in my mind, or subjectively rather, a good game. And this is subjectively looking like a good game, but it's not for me. It's also not for PK, apparently. These are games that we just don't want to play this game. It's not, it's not getting my balls all sweaty like, oh, I want to play that now. No, but it looks good. It's just not for me. That's all.
Okay, so it's not for you, and
it looks great.
No. Okay, that was the next question I was going to ask. Does it look like there was any type of downgrades or anything like that? Because look, I'm going to give my point of view at the end of the show on that too. But okay. Did you see anything? Did it look like that?
Livewire, I had the same situation like Livewire. I thought I'd seen something too, and this was before the whole about some talk about that, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I look back, I'm like, no, I'm not really seeing it. But I feel like of all the games, particularly from Sony at the end of this generation, that wouldn't have that problem, because we haven't seen too much of this game in the 3 years that we've known about it, right? Yeah. But we've seen some things. And when we first saw it, it was definitely running on the PS4 Pro, if not a PC, but I think it was running on PS4 Pro. They had said that off bat. I think they did. I'm not 100% sure on that. Mm-hmm. It was looking as good as they were thinking it was going to. And I didn't see anything that I was able to confirm as a downgrade. So it looks like there's not a downgrade. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, and I did take that double take on it, didn't see nothing. So,
okay, cool.
That's that.
All right. Like I said, Op is going to be the last one. So that means I got two more. So I'm going to go to Don.
And his sweet and sour potato salad. Let's go, man.
Don, what did you think about the Ghost of Toast? Yeah, you and your potato salad have an ass. What is it that you thought?
That's the worst part.
What did you think about the demo?
Devil's fruit, man.
Oh my god! What did you think about it? And was there any type of downgrade? Because like I said, the reason why I asked that is because there was people that was bringing that up. And I want to get your expertise on this. I mean, is this the type of game that you would definitely buy for the PlayStation?
Yeah. The problem is it's so open world. I have to find out where I have a low in my backlog to play.
Sound like a hater. You gotta say you're a developer, sucker. You got to say it right.
Stop it. Stop it.
All right.
Stop it. But seriously, like, it's the open world fatigue thing, right? Like, I plan on playing Valhalla at this holiday season, and after that, I'm probably gonna be burnt out for a little bit, right? So I just don't know where this one's gonna fit in. Probably in that typical lull between now and between beginning of the year and summer of next year. Maybe I'll play it then, but we'll see. As far as downgrade goes, it's hard to tell because I saw all the footage on Twitter on my cell phone, so I didn't really get a good look at it. I think what they showed came off kind of bland though, with just like
it wasn't a lot of fighting.
Yeah, like you look at the first demo, they show the flame and the fire and that fight, and it was very choreographed really well. This is just more or less going through the gameplay, and sometimes gameplay like that can get kind of boring. But when you're showing all the mechanics, it looked kind of drab with kind of the overcast. But I'm sure it has a mixture of things that are going on, and just that's what all you see. So, I'm not any less hyped for it than when I saw it before, and I will just have to figure out when I'm going to play it. To be honest with you, so.
Okay, all right, that's cool. That was diplomatic. That was not as diplomatic as I thought you was going to be, but then that was also, you got
to be real about it. You got to be real about it. It's very real. Yeah,
I'll take it. I can agree with that. So Lemetheus from the Zoo.
Spoken like a politician, diplomatic.
He was a politician on it. He was like,
you can't say what he said.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don should have been a politician instead of a developer. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
You've been great for that. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying, you went against
Hey,
Mitt
people
Romney.
people trust developers more than politicians. So
No,
I'll
that part is true. That part is
I'll
true.
stick with what I'm doing.
You know what? I need to make a poll. I'm going to put that up probably tomorrow. I'm going to say, who do you trust more, devs or politicians? I'm going to put that up tomorrow. I'm going to see how those results come out. So anyway,
I don't see 99-1 devs versus politicians. Something's wrong.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
And Mega, you're responsible.
You can measure the temperature of the room. No, that would tell a lot about
how our politics are right now. Yeah,
or how people feel about games. To be honest with you, either one.
True.
It really would tell you a lot.
It would. I want to start a politics channel.
Don't do it, man.
Let's do it.
You're gonna hate yourself.
Let's do it.
My heart wants it so bad. I want to make a new channel and just do politics, and then I need to get Blades. I need to get some other cat, and I need to just get everybody involved, and we could just talk. Oh my God, I would be so amped for that show.
You realize that if we had that show, right, K Mega, that one, it would either be really good or really bad, but it would be goddamn noteworthy.
Oh no, it wouldn't be bad because I would make sure that I would have an even kill. I would have strong Republicans, strong Democrats.
We are pushing 1 a.m. Eastern.
Shut your ass up.
Let's get it moving now.
You'll get the last word. You know what I'm saying? If we was going on what Lemon was asking and staying, let's go to these other topics before we got to this. Just think about how long we would have went tonight.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
But okay.
Well, what? Okay,
I'll take the blame.
So you will take the blame. So what are you saying? What are you saying on the 3.5 hour GRG podcast tonight? What are you saying? What are you saying?
You want me to talk about Ghost of Tsushima now?
Yes, please.
Okay. First of all, this game reminds me of Tenchu. Like me and you play. We're big fans of that.
Yes.
It's a slower paced game. There's definitely a visual downgrade. From what they showed from before, even the color saturation was off. It was chalky looking, had good graphics, but it's not what they originally showed in those trailers. This is a day one buy for me because I like that style of play, like The Last of Us, like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I do like the faster paced Sekiros and games like that, but I liked it. But as watching this live, the PlayStation community was destroying this game. They was not happy. The PlayStation community. That's who be on the PlayStation channel, right? That's who was watching State of Play, because I know I was there.
Really?
And
you were seeing it? You got to tell me where you see that at.
Yo, listen. I saw a lot of statements saying Xbox Series X is dead. That was being being lit in the chat. So I said, damn, these dudes is crazy. They didn't even get a chance to see this game.
I misinterpreted what you were saying. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
And then after they showed this slow-paced gameplay, right? The riding around in the horse, the talking to the foxes, who the fox is going to lead you to secret areas. I'm not mad with that.
Not a pigeon, but a fox. Okay.
I'm not mad with that. But when I was looking at that chat, them PlayStation dudes got toxic real quick.
They did. It was,
and that reminded me of when they did a walkthrough demo of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is one of the best looking games this generation. But it's not a high intense action based game. It has excellent cutscenes, but the action is far and few in between. You really like a Tomb Raider in like an Indian uniform or whatever, an outfit. You know what I'm saying? And them PlayStation dudes didn't support that. If you go and play Last of Us right now, you could play that game for an hour. It's not a lot of action. It's more drama based. Then you got some action. Then you got, the talking between the characters. But it's not a high fast action game. Now, I was satisfied. You know what I'm saying? I was satisfied. But the PlayStation community is used to God of War and, fast-paced games. They like that. And I'm all for those too, but everything is not instant action. Y'all want these story-based games and everything. I mean, listen, man. Listen, I don't know what to tell y'all, but I seen it for myself. This ain't for me. I'm gonna buy the game day one. But I'm saying that PlayStation chat was toxic. And the people was not happy. So for everybody, like, it was amazing. They didn't show anything amazing. They didn't show nothing amazing. They showed running around. They showed the mechanics. They didn't show anything. Not that every game that comes out shows you something that we ain't seen before, but that was basic gameplay. That was nothing over the top. I enjoyed it, but that was nothing. Oh my God, did you see that? No, it was none of that. I thought Horizon Zero Dawn, when they demoed that, looked better. But technically, you know, it's another open world game. I mean, I don't know, man, but I know the PlayStation community they went crazy. They went crazy in the chat. And if anybody don't believe me, go back to State of Play and you will see Xbox dead. Series X is over. Watch how it starts.
Every game that comes.
And then watch the video and then look at the chat. They got real disrespectful because it wasn't that over the type Sekiro big boss battles. They didn't see none of that. So, like I said, everybody's like, oh, The Last of Us. Shout out to my man Lord Cognito. He put up the numbers with how many people actually finished The Last of Us on PlayStation. They wasn't
30%.
Good. And I told K Mega this how long ago? I said, yo, people here fronting about Last of Us like they bought it. They didn't even play that game.
They didn't even play
the internet has
They didn't play the multiplayer, and they did not beat that game.
And
this is coming from a fan of the game.
And you know what?
I told people this a year ago.
And you know what was the sassy thing? Hold on, live. Let me make this point, and then you go ahead and say this. I posted this in the DMs, in the GRG DMs, of what Amy Henny said, and I could have even went further back to where Amy Henny and Mark Cerny was together, where they were making the point about single player games and how they were in trouble because they want to make impactful single player stories within these games, and people aren't grasping them to go and play them long enough because what they want to do is, and Amy Henny brought it out just last year, was that the actual gameplay aspect of it is for a person that has to work, has to do everything else. The time limit is around 6 to 8 hours.
Not even. After coming home, picking showers.
She just said, 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours. You do that, you can get that done within 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month. It's according to how.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you meant a day. Okay.
No.
About campaigns. And stuff like that.
With the campaign.
I got you. No. I thought he meant in one day. My bad. I thought he meant one day.
Yeah. Amy Henny was like, you know what I'm saying, 8-hour experience with, you know what I'm saying, a 6 to 8 hour experience with a single player driven game with people that work, got other things that they got to do, or people that aren't into gaming as detailed as that. 6 to 8 hours is the key. The thing of it is that this is what's sad, and I know I gotta get to you, Op, because I know you ready to go, and I know there's other people that's ready to go get the other things to do.
I wasn't done yet, but okay.
Oh no, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish. All
right. Keep it rolling, man.
Yeah.
I just got here, and I want this podcast to end. Let's go.
Shut your ass up. You know what I'm saying? You get the hell out of here too. Anyway, so the point of the matter, what I'm trying to say is that you have to put in. You know what I'm saying? Look. The Witcher 3, one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. Ever. Not just generation, but in my entire life. Only the people that has beat that game can use that as collateral. 90% of people who bought The Witcher can't say that. Because they'll play like 15, 20, 30, 40 hours and then be like, damn, this game is good. But they go to something else because there's so much other stuff that's available. But when you actually get into the lore, the story, the detail of every side mission that you can get into, like there was somebody that showed me and made me jealous. Like I'm going to go back on The Witcher once I get done with Halo, and I'm going to get my 1,000 achievement score on that, so I can beat everything. Fuck that. That made me mad. Because that game is that good that it deserves that. And I'm not saying that Horizon Zero Dawn or Halo 5 or any other game that's out there available that can't get that. The point of the matter is that story-driven games, the way that they're constructed now, gamers are used to the old premise of how you make story-driven games. You can't, publishers want games to be longer, to add DLC so people can pay more money so they can recoup their money back for what they spent into the game. Gamers aren't feeling that way because they're used to the old way of how you do games, and they're not trying, and you know what I'm saying, and other people have so much other things to do that they can't put that energy into that particular game because there's so many other games out there in the wild now that can do that. So it's a really tight rope. You gotta really love that game, or it's a really tight rope. Lemon finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And like I said, games like that take a lot of attention span. You know what I'm saying? And I have a problem. I buy all these games. I buy everything day one. I just can't even help myself. But when you got games like a Witcher,
yes,
those Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I didn't have time.
Odyssey.
I work like you do, Lemon. Shit,
right. But I'm saying in general, like, and then I have an online multiplayer competition problem. Like I'm competitive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to play those games, but I thought the game looked good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't agree with the chat. You know what I'm saying? That's my style of game. Like everything just can't. When you start The Witcher, you don't jump out the window with mad action, but you gotta realize what K Mega brought up is a fact. People's attention span is really short nowadays, and they don't really get into these games. Like okay, let's say Death Stranding. Death Stranding takes a long time to get into. People don't have the time to get into your game. If you don't get in with bang, 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 or start off fast paced and slow up, then it's about a pace. You can't just. It's too much, man. It's too much. And them PlayStation guys, they like action. They like, they really didn't even support Detroit Become Human for the same reason. It's a Telltale game on steroids. It looks way better, has way more outcomes that's more, like Telltale be like, yeah, we got multiple outcomes. I'm a Telltale guy. They be lying. But it's like they didn't support they didn't support the game.
No.
The game is awesome. But when I saw that first, and people forget they didn't like Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, they didn't.
They didn't like it. And the game is awesome. The animation is incredible. The HDR is over the top, and they didn't put the time in for the game because it was a slower paced game. And it just is what it is. And Ghost of Tsushima looks along the same lines of style of gameplay, like Bloody said. You had the precise samurai kills. That means you're not hacking and slashing. That's what that means. You ain't getting up there jambling, bashing the controller to get your moves off. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'm buying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying it day one. But
I got you. Listen, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? That Horizon Zero Dawn, Street Fighter 5 was the reason, and Neo was the reason why I got me a PlayStation 4.
A lot of people didn't beat Neo either. Me either.
PlayStation. Street Fighter. I understand that. Street Fighter 5 was a disappointment. Neo
in the beginning.
No, it's still a disappointment. Fuck all
that game is awesome now.
No, it's not awesome now. No, it's not.
It's regular Street Fighter. I got all the moves. No, it's not.
No, it's no.
You don't like it still?
3 years later, it doesn't count.
I know it was the worst selling Street Fighter of all time.
You know what I'm saying? Me paying for the money
Killer
that I
Instinct
paid for
that was
day
better than that game,
one.
and that
Killer
game was
Instinct
free.
sold 10 million copies though.
I bought
That was-
Street
That's
Fighter.
not what I said. I said
I bought
better game.
Street Fighter. I bought
Of course.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I got Street Fighter 5 on my PlayStation for full
Day one?
price day one, and I got
Yeah.
it on PC day one. Not worth
you double
it.
dip.
Not
He was
worth
mad twice.
Not worth it.
It wasn't.
Now,
I bought it day one too.
No, I take that back. I bought it on the PC first because I that's when I first built my PC to match up to where it's somewhat capable. I had a lower end PC.
You shouldn't buy a special controller.
I got told that my PC was up res, but I got lied to, which that's a whole nother topic in itself. But I went ahead and I bought it on the PlayStation anyway because I'm like, look, I'm a gamer. I support everything. So I bought it at full price with the DLC. So I bought the Ultimate Edition, which was $60-$70. 60 to $80. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a couple of months later. So it still isn't worth it. It still isn't worth it. I don't care if it took because you still got to pay for the latest DLC again, and that's why I haven't upgraded the DLC on my PC, but I did on my PlayStation 4. And in the game, to me, listen, like I said, you know what? I need to make a video talking about that altogether. I do because I can go long on that. Horizon Zero Dawn was the only pleasant game. Nihon was good. Not my type of genre of game. I'm not into the Dark Souls bullshit. I can't stand that narrative.
That's a hardcore crowd. That's a hardcore crowd. It's a special crowd.
Sekiro is probably my favorite out of all of that shit. And
it's a little bit more fast paced.
Yeah, it's more fast paced. You could do a little bit more. I can go back
I love
to
both of them.
I can go back to I can go back to Atagi back on the OG Xbox. Other than that, I don't care. Kill yourself on that garbage. Dark Souls will never be a game that I'll support.
Hey, don't say kill yourself. Don't disrespect like that, all right?
No, I disrespect it.
It's a small niche of people. Bloody,
not,
you know, me and you both know that.
That 5-6 million,
not buying that game like that.
3, 4, 5 million that likes that shit. Go ahead.
Nah, it's not even that.
I can't.
Nowhere near that.
Give me hack and slash. Give me the same type of shit, the same type of formula like they do with Ninja Gaiden. Other than that, but you know what I'm saying. Look, I support it. Like I know Luca beat that game. Lady Infamous beat that game. I utmost support to the highest praise. Y'all are, if you want to claim that there are better gamers than me because of Dark Souls,
it's just not for you. It's just like what PK said. Everything ain't for everybody.
Can't stand it. It's
not for everybody.
Sekiro.
I don't like Dark Souls 1 and 2, but I enjoy 3 because it's faster.
Yeah, Sekiro is the
I don't like 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree. The third one was definitely faster.
The third one is better than me.
I do like Bloodborne. Sekiro and Bloodborne's the limit. Anything else other than that, I can't stand it. The point of the matter is this.
I like Bloodborne, but it makes you feel like you're colorblind. It got like 3 colors.
Yeah, it's bland colors. Yeah.
Try the search. I was like that one. The combat's
and I haven't done the multiplayer. I haven't done the multiplayer. But anyway, I know. I'm sorry. Op. Well, hold on. Did I go Slayer? Is it Slayer?
Yes, I already spoke on it.
Okay, all right. Op, finish us off, bro.
We're on Ghosts, right? Because y'all all over the place.
Yeah. We're talking about Ghosts.
We're talking about style of games. Yeah, Ghosts.
We're talking about all this shit. Yeah, we're talking about Ghosts overall, and then we're finishing up.
Me before going into the trailer, I was hyped for the game because I was under the impression that Sucker Punch Studio, they are known for delivering good gameplay and good story at the same time.
Yes.
But in all honesty, I'm kind of let down for what I saw from the trailer. Like me personally, I do like games give me a challenge. You know, sometimes it gets a little annoying because sometimes it can be a little bit of bullshit, but this game looks too easy, in my opinion. Just like, even like in the daytime, going through, like, I guess, if you want to take the samurai route, you have like fighting honor, fight people face to face, like, to know you're coming. Like for me, the QTE, like quick time action in that looks too simple in my opinion. And I don't even think a difficulty modifier is going to help it that much unless you make it, I guess, a shorter time frame in order to counter him. But I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how else they can help it, but that's looking real mad to me right now. As far as the stealth, it looks even more easier than that, to be honest. Like there's one section in the trailer, I think he killed like 2 people stealthily, stealthily. Then he took out 2 knives and threw 3 of them at once with 3 different enemies. Like, come on now. Like really, like this what we're really doing. Like, when did the challenge come in this game at this point? Because if I can clear a base that easy, like this, how's it fun at this point? It's gonna get more monotonous if I'm not gonna get challenged by the enemies in the game at this point. But other than that, as far as visuals, like at first I didn't feel like saying it because I'm getting tired of having this conversation because this happens
Right.
on almost every game that comes out, but almost every other game that comes out. But like I did notice downgrade. For me, it was pretty noticeable in certain sections of the
It's
game.
a downgrade, definitely.
Yeah, I can't really deny that. And people call me an Xbox for saying that because it's a Sony game, but I don't care less. Like to me, that's what I saw. That's really how I feel. It really is. It is at that point. But overall, it's like it's looking real mad to me. People are calling this Assassin's Creed game that we deserve. I'm having a hard time trying.
What the hell does that even mean?
What?
Basically, people are mad because
Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins was awesome. What the hell are they? That's just a stupid statement.
No, it's dumb as hell.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
The issue is that Assassin's Creed doesn't necessarily focus on stealth as much as it used to in the past right now.
No, it still does. But you can just go full out action. I mean, listen.
Anyway, come on, let Op finish. Let Op finish.
Op's
been waiting.
Frustrate the hell out of me. They
left
just
and
stupid.
came back. Let Op finish. Let Op finish.
I know. Some my
right
bad.
now, there are stealth missions as well, and the encampments and fortresses. You can go in there and take a stealth approach if you want to, like, and those make a big part of the game as well. So stealth is still plays a part in Assassin's Creed. It's just not as heavy focus as it was before. And that's people that take issue with. But now people are trying to say, prop this game, saying this is the Assassin's Creed game we deserve, or this is what we needed for so long. And to me, I'm honestly lost at it because the mechanics are praised for in this game are also present in the current and previous Assassin's Creed games we had before.
That's why I said it, like Assassin's Creed in Japan.
Can I ask a question to everybody?
Okay.
Ain't Origins and Odyssey the most successful Assassin's Creed to date?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought. I ain't gonna
That's
say
what
no
I
more.
thought
Yeah, it's
too.
still the most
I
successful.
ain't gonna say no more.
Hold on. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do,
Fuck
right?
people, man.
Because
I mean, y'all want to see?
live.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me
La.
La. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so listen to this. Tomorrow, before I do, if you guys are down, because I know this is a great topic, and I know that people still have plenty to say. But we have to end the podcast. We have to end this. If we want to continue this, if you are down, go into the DMs. Let me know that
Somebody just came in here. No.
What you mean no? What you talking
Somebody just joined. So I know a viewer just joined. It was at 37. Now it's at 38. Somebody joined. They interested.
Fuck that. Yeah, sorry, you came in way late. We about to end this shit. We about to end this shit. Yeah. Anyway.
Now they left.
We was at 50 something. No. We got shit to do. Whoa, what's going on? Okay, hold on. Oh, my boy. Oh my God. Listen to this. Remember NYT music. He said the coal train never stopped. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That shit was raining.
One way or another, man.
Okay, so listen. Hold on, guys. Listen what I'm saying. The show has to end. We can't keep going. So what I'm saying, if we want to talk about this, we'll discuss this in the DMs tonight and tomorrow morning. If you want to continue to talk about this, we could do a little quick show tomorrow, and you know what I'm saying, to get it out of our system, because I know it still ain't out of our system. That's fine, but we have to end it. We got
I'm
to
down.
stop.
I ain't got no job. I got fired on my day off.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I'm right there with you, baby. I'm sitting there. I gotta take my ass right there. I gotta take my ass to work next week for sure and sit back and just watch film. So I'm right there with you. So
You
listen,
doing some Halo 5 after this?
bro. I'm saying Don's gonna try to talk me into coercion to doing some other shit, but whatever the case may be. But whatever it is, let's finish talking about this tomorrow when we have everybody that still want to talk about this, because we got to finish this. We got to end this show. This is going too long. We're going too long. You know what I'm saying? Shut up, live. We done. Shut your ass up. We done. Tomorrow, if you want to talk about it, we can. God damn.
I heard you, man. Just pay attention to Twitter. We'll let y'all know.
We'll let y'all know, and we'll
started talking.
That's right, Noob. You're going for the record. You're going for the record, Noob.
No, we're not going for the record.
You and your big toe jokes.
Oh my God. Anyway, I love this podcast. I love this panel. Anyway,
Man, this is a record. We did 4 hours.
God damn, this is too long. It's 12:11 my time. It's too long. Anyway, we're going to end this. I was even going to go on a rant. Fuck the rant. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, we got to look. He was about to go on his Obama stuff, but okay.
I was about to go on my Obama rant. I was about to say, and you know what? You know what I'm saying? I was about to break down some truth. But let's get out of here. Thank you guys for paying attention and watching us. I know, listen, I can remember, and I know if Rain's probably asleep by now. Rain ain't for sleep, but I remember when I was doing podcasts with my boy B Shadows, and it would just be the three of us, me, Rain, and then sometimes All Day was in there with us when I first met All Day, and there would be sometimes I mean, look, the conversations was great because we would talk about just gaming as gamers.
Here we go. He's not gonna stop.
I'm gonna stop.
No,
but the point of it is that like it turned into we had like so many people watch.
And I choose to keep talking.
Shut your ass
came
up.
back?
I got to finish.
Right
I got to finish. That we would have so many people listening to us, and then all of a sudden
we want to go home.
We want to go home. We want to be done. I got a chick to come over.
Yeah, we get it. We're ending the show. Okay, so
oh my God, y'all killing me.
You want to talk to your wife, man? Damn.
I did. My wife is
we end the show, and you keep talking like you live.
Okay, you're right. Anyway, let's get the fuck out of here. GRG Podcast, we're done. Livewire, where can they find you at?
They can find me out on my channel, posting 60 frames per second gameplay.
Oof.
Oh.
Or that GTA 5.
I ain't seen no gameplay, sucker. I ain't seen it. And you need to.
I ain't seen my gameplay either. I gave you last week.
You didn't give me no gameplay, liar.
Yes, I did.
What you talking about? No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You sent it to 100. You didn't send it to me.
I sent it to you.
No, you didn't.
Jazz,
yes,
you right now, bro.
You're lying.
No, why would I lie?
Listen, Op sent it to me.
You told me I sent you my stuff too late.
No,
and
I
it'll
didn't.
be next week.
Making choices.
I gotta go look.
I'm looking at the link right here.
I gotta look for that
in
shit.
Me and your chat.
You should have sent that shit.
Me and your chat directly to you is my gameplay.
3 weeks ago, you gonna send it to me? You've been out for like 2 months.
I sent it to you last week. You said I sent it too late. I sent it to you last Thursday.
I'm gonna look at it. It's gonna be the same bullshit, just like you was talking about. It ain't gonna be nothing worth.
I can see that Tito's is full effect now.
All right, cool. Get your ass out of here. Slayer, where can they find you at? Get the hell out of here. Be quick.
Find me on all
Don't
these
you start
gaming
talking
platforms.
that. Yes, be quick.
You know all the ones. Slayer on Twitter.
Be quick.
Yo, Steve, thanks for coming out.
Be quick. All right. Where can they find you at? Be quick.
Same place as last week.
Get out of here. Buddy, be quick.
Shut
up. Get out of here. Don, where can they find you at? Be quick.
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. PK. Be quick.
Just hit that button.
Same bad channel, same bad week.
Hold on. Wait. What button?
Man, fuck this shit. We out. Bye.
We out of here. Fuck that. We out of here. PK, where can they find you at?
Same bad time next week.
PK's so tired he can't even say. TK talk straight.
Yo,
All right,
thanks
who
for
else did
coming
I
out,
miss?
everybody, especially you,
We out of here. K Mega, where can they find you at? Get out of here. We're out of here. Good night.
Tomorrow. Bye.
Hey, if we're gonna talk about this shit tomorrow, we'll talk about it for a little bit and we'll get the hell out of here. We are out. It's too late. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I don't know what the hell is wrong
After
with
this
us.
roommate got to go to work.
Follow everyone.
Where y'all rushing to go?
Go.
We're out. People got shit to do. Anyway, we're out of here.
Streams, let's go. Bye.
Good night. Woo.
Hey, thanks for checking out the GRG podcast. All your gaming news and our special topic of the week. Make sure to join us every Friday night, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 6:30 Pacific. This was the GRG podcast.